Icewind Dale has become trapped in a perpetual winter. Ferocious blizzards make the mountain pass through the spine of the world exceedingly treacherous, and this land has not felt the warmth of the sun in over 2 years. In fact, the sun no longer appears above the mountains, not even in what should be the height of summer. In this frozen tundra, darkness and bitter cold reign as king and queen. Most Dale residents blame Auril, the Frostmaiden, the god of winter's wrath. The shimmering aurora that weaves across the sky each night is said to be her doing, a potent spell that keeps the sun at bay. Dale folk live in a scattering of settlements known as 10 towns. The drop-off in caravans coming from the north and travel between settlements in this never-ending winter has left everyone feeling isolated. Although each town has resolved to appease the Frostmaiden with sacrifices of one kind or another, no respite from the winter's fury seems forthcoming. 10 Towns is a place to test one's mettle, and in the spirit of heroes who have come before, leaves one mark on this frigid, blighted land. Meaningful Gaming presents Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden.
Okay, so good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you were. Very excited to get started, or technically morning for me, but that's all good. So yes, we'll get started in just a moment. I'm very excited to do this campaign. We're at session number 1, which is very good with our session number 0 last week. We have 5 players today, which is exciting. So what do you say we just get into it, gentlemen? Okay, so we'll just do this quick intro again. Just want to set the scene a little bit. So, Icewind Dale has become trapped in a perpetual winter. Ferocious blizzards make the mountain pass through the spine of the world exceedingly treacherous, and this land has not felt the warmth of the sun in over 2 years. In fact, the sun no longer appears above the mountains at all, not even in what should be the height of summer. In this frozen tundra, darkness and bitter cold reign as king and queen. Most Dale residents blame Auril, the Frostmaiden, the god of winter's wrath. The shimmering aurora that weaves across the sky each night is said to be her doing, a potent spell that keeps the sun at bay. The Dale folk live in a scattering of small settlements known as the 10 Towns. The drop-off in caravans coming from the south and travel between settlements in this never-ending winter has left everybody feeling isolated. Although each town has resolved to appease the Frostmaiden with sacrifices of one kind or another, no respite from winter's fury seems forthcoming. For adventurers, such as yourselves, 10 Towns is a place to test one's mettle, and in the spirit of heroes who have come before, leaves one mark on this frigid, blighted land. Now,
Icewind Dale has become trapped in a perpetual winter.
So our focus turns to the town of Brinshander, a walled town pitched atop a cold, lonely, wind-lashed hill. Bright lanterns suspend over narrow streets, twist in the wind, and add flecks of colours to the town's otherwise drab surroundings. There is no safer place in Icewind Dale to spend coin or spend the night. The wall that surrounds Brinshander are some 30 feet high, and some poor souls are patrolling along the wall, even in this biting winter cold. The gates are closed when it is dark outside, or some to say it seems to be more often than not. But the gates do open, and mercifully let in a trio of creatures, barely visible in the new moon's light. A Goliath pushes his way through a snowbank, with a rather sickly human-shaped figure who seems barely to be holding on, clutching strongly onto the Goliath's arm. One gets the impression that it wasn't for the Goliath, this particular humanoid wouldn't make it through it all. And a third short fellow follows him in. Perhaps a halfling, perhaps a dwarf, or perhaps even a gnome. It is hard to tell, as this figure, as all figures are in Icewind Dale at the moment, is wrapped in winter furs with only their eyes showing. Now, something seems to be happening in the town square, so the trio wanders over. A guard hands them each a piece of paper and tells them to write their names down. Too tired to protest, they write their names down, and are surprised to see the guards scurry away and put their pieces of paper in a large barrel amongst which the entire town is gathered around. If we look closely into the crowd, we see a young elf. She too is wrapped in winter furs, with once again only her eyes showing. She has seen all this before. She has already written her name down, and it too is in the barrel. She coughs and sputters and waits patiently and tries to keep warm by the shared warmth of the crowd. Finally, we focus our eyes on a half-orc who's leaning up against a post just outside the town hall, cursing his luck and shivering slightly like most of the town. The half-orc has just finished guarding a shipment of mead from the town of Honeymead. Most assume it'll be the last of that shipment, and everybody knows the mead will go quickly. The half-orc once again curses in luck, and knows he should have waited a day before entering town. His name too is in the barrel. The leader of the town, or speaker of the town, as it is known in Icewind Dale, addresses the crowd. Some people know her as Duvisi Shane. Though young, she has earned the respect of the town, and all 1,000 pairs of eyes of the town focus on her. "Auril," she begins to say, "we do not know why you curse us with this endless winter. We can only assume it is because that you crave our deaths. To appease you, as we do every new moon, we will sacrifice one of our own in the hope you will end this endless winter." She reaches into the barrel and the crowd goes silent. "Cray Sagor," she says. A woman screams in the crowd, "No, no, no, not Cray, not my Cray." And we see the figure we assume is Cray Sagor hug his wife and kids, who all start to wail. It is the only sound around the town hall. Everybody else is silent. But not Cray. Cray is stoic. He is strong. He tears himself away from the family and makes his way to the edge of the crowd. A group of men grab him. Are they guard? Or just citizens? It is hard to tell. And they drag him outside of the town, and the rest of the crowd follows silently, save for the screaming wife and kids. 500 or so feet out of town, fully in this blizzard that continues to rage, they strip the Cray Sagor naked and tie him to the pole. The crowd silently walk back. Some kind soul leads Cray's family back to town. Come morning, the pole will be empty. The Goliath, the human, the shorter person who turns out to be a gnome, and the half-orc, and the elf all make their way to the Northlook, the local tavern. The place is unusually busy. Perhaps some people are celebrating their names were not in the barrow. Now this eclectic group of 5 are forced to share a table. It is the only table free in the tavern. Now in the relative warmth of the inn, though no place is truly warm in Icewind Dale, the group removes their winter hoods. Now this is the first time everybody will see each other's face. Some will, some won't. So, let's go around the table and see what everybody looks like. Let's start with With first on the list, Stello. Just give a brief description of what Stello looks like for us, please.
He's a tall, medium-shaped Goliath. He's tall, old, and very skinny for a Goliath. His back is hunched over, and his right eye has been kind of gouged out. It's an empty black hole where his right eye would be. And he's clothed in a mix of reindeer and walrus leather armor, with his chest and his back bared, where you can see many tattoos of various animals and people, like walrus and reindeer, fishermen and hunters.
And as the human, the wizard Edwin, just managed to get here thanks to the help of Stello, why don't we have a description of Edwin, please?
Sure. Edwin is fairly small for a human, only about 5 feet, so about a feet maybe taller than the average dwarf. He seems to be in his early 20s, and although he's shivering from the immense cold, there's a kind smile across his face as he looks around. His visage is piercing with sky blue eyes. He focuses you and is framed by dark blonde hair. He looks very well groomed, yet his white and blue robes appear to be worn out by long travel. And in his hand rests a staff forged of metal, crowned by a faintly blue glowing crystal.
And the third figure who joined these people in town, the person who was hard to look at from a distance, hard to work out who it was. But why don't we have the short person, who turns out to be a gnome? What does Theodore look like?
Theodore is he's a rock gnome. He's dressed in winter clothes, as it's logical for this kind of weather. He's got an inquisitive look. He's looking around, trying to see whatever interesting things are happening in the inn. He has gray hair, gray beard, mutton chops or whatever you call those, and very proud of them. He's getting older, but not quite old yet. He's still got plenty of energy in him. And currently he's just glad that he's no longer in walking the same height as Stalos' crotch as he did for a few miles, and he's breathing in some fresh air. So yeah.
Very good. And the half-orc, who was guarding some mead from the town of Honeymead, who did curse his luck that he managed to time it just right to be part of this draw for the sacrifice to Auril. So what does Garosh look like?
Yeah, so he's wearing his armor, which looks kind of like composed of different pieces from different people. And he has a huge sword on his back, which almost touches the floor as he's sitting on the stool there. And he's frowning. Apparently, he really didn't like the sacrifice lottery, right? Yeah.
Okay.
But otherwise, he's a huge guy with little manners, and he's obviously at home at an inn and with mead.
Okay, excellent. And finally, the person who seemed to know what was going on, the elf, Stax. What does Stax look like?
Max is a very young elf. She has this copper hue skin, jet black hair that's worn in a very tight braid along her back. She has dark tattooed lines around her eyes, and her ears look jagged and scarred from if anyone is familiar with frostbite scars, you know how they become scarred. And, well, even though years outside and she's had a tough life, it's still very evident that she's barely an adult. Is she even that one?
Okay, excellent. So you get a chance to look around the tavern and take in the scene. Some brave individuals are even starting to play music to lighten up the mood a little bit. This is very much the hangout for new visitors and hardy adventurers in the town of Bryn Shander. You look around, it's very busy. It's a lot of people hanging out. A lot of people seem to be... I mean, the mood around the barrel and the town meeting was very, very somber. You could even hear a palpable sigh of relief where in this town of 1,000, the odd of getting your name called is 1 in 1,000, which are fairly good odds, but still not the type of odds you'd want to take at the best of times. The inn's proprietor, who's an older gentleman, both Stax and Garrosh recognize him immediately. You've frequented here on your travels, maybe even stayed here a couple of nights, Garrosh. But Scramsack comes up to you and says, Garrosh, Stack, good to see you. Welcome back to the North Look Tavern. Quite a busy night we have tonight. What can I get you?
Yeah,
Give me an ale.
As usual, I'll just have a big mug of ale.
A big mug of ale? And the same for you, Stax?
Yes, please.
Okay. And what about you folks? Haven't seen you before. What about you, my Goliath friend? What can I get for you?
Oh, have you, I would like, some dark mead, dark ale, perhaps.
Oh, yeah. I do have a special brew that I've been saving for times after the sacrifice to Auril. So now's as good as time to crack one open. So I'll get you an extra dark ale. Welcome. And what about you? He looks at JD and says, you're not looking too well there, friend. Maybe something a bit warmer to warm you up. I could get you some soup.
Well, I would certainly prefer that. Maybe some warm meat. And if you happen to have any soup or stew, I'd be much obliged.
I can bring it right out. It's, let's just say we get... Yes.
What is your name, gentlemen?
Oh, my name is Scramsack. Nice to meet you.
Scramsack.
Scramsack.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Yeah. Man,
Edwin's the name.
nice to meet you, Edwin. I mean, I used to be an adventurer like yourselves, looking to, find my fortune here in the Icewind Dales. And I was lucky to make my fortune because this blasted winter came along. But now I run this in, and that's enough adventure for me. So I'll bring that right away. And my apologies. You, my gnome friend. We don't see a lot of gnomes up this way, but what can I get for you?
Anything warm. If you would have maybe tea, or that stew sounds wonderful as well.
No tea, friend. I could bring you some soup.
Soup would be fine. And the stew.
Sure, bring it right up. I mean, we used to have tea here, but, we can't ship it up from the south, and any tea we grow is just withered and dies. But my apologies. Anyway, I'll be right back. And he leaves. And you find yourself around the table. Some of you know each other, some of you don't. Garrosh and Stax, you haven't met these people, so what would you like to do?
Well, aren't we a small little group of company here? What are your names? Is here half-orc and you others? Who are you?
I'm Garrosh. I came here to look for work and adventure. I worked as guard for caravans, and I thought it would be nice to get some fresh air here.
Noble work indeed. Well, I just ferried these two gentlemen across the ice. I mean, I can handle the cold, but it always gives me a bit of a fright seeing you small people get all cold and frozen. It must be
Stalo,
dreadful.
I'm not that small. Very rude.
Compared to me, okay. It was no offense.
Edwin rolls his eyes and says, well, compared to you, everybody is small, so that doesn't make any difference.
Well, I guess that's true.
Anyway, he might have meant me. I really am small.
Looking over, Edwin realizes, yeah, probably. I'm sorry. You know, I'm very self-conscious about my height. Anyway, you, half-orc gentleman, Garrosh the name. It's nice to meet you. My name's Edwin, and who might you be, elf? And I shall address her in Elvish, and introduce myself and ask for her name.
I will reply in Elvish, and it's a pleasure to meet you. My name's Stax. Just
The pleasure
traveling
is
through.
mine.
Well, I'm Theodore, if anybody's wondering, and I'm an artificer extraordinaire here on business for my clan to find some rare metals and whatever I can find to help them make magical items and similar.
Before I forget, the name's Stallo. It's a pleasure to meet you all.
Certainly has been a pleasure. Without him, we'd certainly be dead. Frozen in the snow and the cold blizzard.
Don't mention it.
We owe you, big time, big guy.
It's okay. Just I guess what I asked for in return for ferrying you two was just sharing a meal. And that's fine by me. And if we build a relationship, and we could become better known.
Indeed, strength in numbers.
That's what I always say.
Although I suggest, Stalo, I suggest you wash your crotch tonight. It was horrible walking behind you.
I should see about that, yeah.
Just as you're finishing your conversation, getting to know each other, Scramsack comes back again and he places the various ales, the dark ales, the stews, and everything that you ordered. And he says, I can tell some of you in town, and things are a bit grim out there, so we'll just make it 5 copper pieces each. Special just for today. It is a new moon. We did lose Cray Sager. I don't know the gentleman myself, but it is a somber day here. We're hoping that summer will return one day, but maybe Cray's sacrifice will help that. But he's at least the 10th person we've sent out there, but this is what we think will be a sacrifice to Auril. So, yeah. Sorry, what was that, friend?
What was that guy's name? That poor fella with family and wife that got sacrificed?
Cray Sager was his name.
Cray Sager.
Uh-huh.
Poor fella. How long has this kind of ritual been going on? You don't know.
Well, of course I don't. We haven't seen the sun for nigh on 2 years. Our crops are dying. The lakes are frozen over. Some people have resorted to drilling ice in the water and do some ice fishing. Some drag their boats out. I mean, we feel very much we are trapped here. The sea of moving ice is getting worse by the day, making any type of fishing out there extraordinarily dangerous. The pass, the spine of the world, that's a very treacherous path to cross. Some do brave it. So we feel very much isolated here.
You don't say. That's the way we came from, and it wasn't a nice ride, I can tell you that.
Wow, I'm pleased to make it. Many don't, so very pleased to have you here.
All thanks to our big Goliath friend, and that's why I shall cover his tab, please.
Oh, well, most generous.
And I hand him the copper pieces for my meal and Snello's.
That would be a silver piece then, friend. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, Edwin.
So once we didn't see the sun for a good few months and the lakes froze over, we figured Auril was behind this. I mean, she's the mistress of the winter, and the various 10 towns here, they've been sacrificing different things. Some thinks that since she's so fond of the warmth, they should sacrifice their firewood, and if you visit those places, you'll see just firewood burning, which is, a precious resource at the best of times.
Seem like the most rational thing to do.
These are not rational times, my friend. I mean, whatever's happening, why would she curse this land with darkness? And you'll find more towns if you look around. I'm sure you've seen this around before, both Gaurosh and Stacks. Some also just put food out in the middle of the night, thinking that Auril might be hungry. Now, we've come to the conclusion that there's been a lot of death. I mean, there's always death in Icewind Dale, but people have just gotten even worse in recent times. So we figure with this cold, Auril wants death. She wants life. And maybe if we sacrifice some humans to them, maybe she'll show mercy on us. As I said, after about 3 months, we started sacrificing people. The town came to an agreement that this was the best thing to do. And, through the leadership of our dear leader, we came to the conclusion that this was the best thing to do. I mean, we have our speaker Duvese Shane, and she's a good person. She's a good sort. She's young, but she's got a good head on her shoulders. And we all came to the agreement that this was the best thing to do. Some go out kicking and screaming. Some almost go catatonic, but Cray at least walk there.
I don't want to be rude or anything, but sacrificing humans doesn't seem like the right thing to do.
I think it's completely stupid, if you ask me.
Desperate times, desperate message. Desperate times, for sure.
Even sacrificing firewood, how do you keep warmth in this cold?
Maybe they stand around the firewood they sacrifice.
Well, some do stand around. It isn't very much like a bonfire. Some of the people stand around it, but they're quickly shoot off by various guards and officials to keep warm as best they can in their often drafty caverns.
If you allow it, I would love to make a religion check to see if I know anything about cults of Auril or how to worship her. Does that make any sense?
Okay, don't feel any pressure, but this is the very first roll of the campaign. You're about to set the tone of the entire adventure, so make your roll.
Very well.
Okay, very middling.
Average.
Coming down from warmer climates in the south, Auril is not really venerated or worshipped there. You do know that, some religions do have human sacrifices. You're not overly surprised by this news. I mean, it is bad out there. I mean, you only just made it here yourself. You mean you're not in the best of health at times, so you're extremely lucky. And human sacrifices, while it's a bit extreme, it's not unheard of in desperate times. And sacrificing wood, not a good idea. Sacrificing fire, not a good idea. So this is perhaps the worst one. So you have heard of it. And Scramsack continues. Well, if you guys have a better solution, then please let us know.
Master
I know.
Scramsack, is this the first person you sacrificed, or were there others?
We're up to about 14, 15, something like that.
Oh my, these poor souls.
How
know,
often
and it-
do you do this?
Every new moon. Every new moon. So about once a month.
Okay.
And it hasn't worked so far. Why do you keep doing it?
Oh, once
Fair
again.
point, actually.
That... well, we did come to agreement as a town. As I say, if you have a better solution, let me know.
Is there a way to volunteer for the sacrifice?
I mean,
I mean,
Theodore, you're getting ahead of it.
I mean,
I like you a
it,
little bit at least.
it's cruel to tear a father from his family.
Sometimes it's a father, sometimes it's an old person. The children are mercifully spared. And I gotta say, there's always talk that somehow the draw is rigged. That the more powerful people don't put their names in. No one can prove anything. But someone's always sacrificed. I mean, you, Stax, you've seen this before. What do you think of this situation?
I think it's a truly wasteful way of conveying with the gods. I've never heard of gods that want human sacrifice. And if after almost 2 years of sacrificing people, you should have come up with a better idea. This is not my town. But
Well,
I've seen you, and I don't really believe that you think this is the best way either.
I mean, if you want to prove that the powerful don't put their names into the barrel, just read all the names in the barrel. See what's missing.
I would do it, but I'm a lowly innkeep. Maybe we can bring that up with our leader, but we'll see.
Whose
There's
name
always-
probably isn't there.
Well, no, she's a good sort. She most definitely puts her name into the hat each time. She makes a show of it, in fact. So you can rest assured that she does put her name in the hat. And as another thing, let's just show you a picture of the leader of this town. To the first handout of the adventure. Her name is Duvissa Shane. And this will give us a test to make sure everything's working well. So this is the... Oops. This is the leader of the town. Should see it now pop up in roll 20. And as you can see, she is quite young. And quite well respected. So, maybe... Duvessa Shane, she does put in her name each time. She's a good sort. And her name, as I said, the odds are low. We're a town of 10,000, 1,200, something like that. One less tonight, unfortunately, but she's a good sort. Some other speakers around the towns, and he kind of spits on the ground. Says, I have no respect for them, but she's a good sort. So while it's not the best, once again, if you guys have a better idea, let us know.
I've been here for a while, and I've seen it's definitely not working.
Hasn't worked yet.
Sacrificing humans, yeah, sacrificing people, it's just stupid. And guess what? The firewood, someone has to chop it, and then that someone is also me, right? And it's not fun. To go chop firewood for some stupid dudes to then go and sacrifice it to whatever they did, they think is responsible for this. I think it's some crazed wizard and he needs some blade treatment. That's what I say.
You think a wizard?
Calm down, Frank.
You th-
Don't overdo it.
You think a wizard is behind this?
Yeah, sure. Like, it's not unheard of that wizards did such things in the past.
Yeah. Pretty
You
damn
guys, I
powerful
don't
wizard.
like wizards. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be rude, dear Garrosh, but just because something is magic doesn't mean some spellcasters behind it. I have some expertise on that end, and I might be able to prove it. I can investigate if you'd like to, but I don't suspect a wizard behind it. That would be odd.
Well,
The sacrifice didn't work.
no, maybe she needs 20 sacrifices. Maybe she needs 30. Anyway, we're going to keep doing it. This is what we do. Desperate times, desperate message. Maybe one day it'll work. I shall leave you gentlemen alone. I have other customers to serve. Good day.
Certainly. Thanks for the chat. Just one quick question.
Yes.
Hey, we would like to speak to Speaker Duvessa. Where could we find her?
You'd find her in the town hall. And in fact, let me show you the map for Bryn Shander. So I'll drag you over to this map. So this is Brand Shander.
All black for me at the moment.
Okay, just a sec.
Probably something with the lightning.
It is certainly something to do with the lighting. Here we go. That should be better.
Thank you kindly.
Okay, so I'll give you I'll point out some of the things on here so you can get a. This is where you are. Oops. I've got to send this to the back. So you should see the north look. That's where you are right at the moment. Right up the top there, you see the north look right here?
Yeah.
Yep. Some other features of this town while we're here. This is the North Gate. This is where the trio adventurers came in. This is where you have been hanging out, Stacks. This is the House of the Morning Lord. There's also the East Gate over here, another gate into this. And you can see around the outside of the town there is this wall. It's a good 30 feet high. And it's almost like a double wall, like a wall, like just constructed about 5 feet apart. And they've stuffed like dirt and rocks and stuff. And that's where the people patrol around the outside. The town hall, you would know the Stacks as well, is right in the center of town here. Just to complete it, there is also the stables over there. And the council hall is right there. And the southwest gate right there. So you guys were, this is where you were all gathered before, right in the center outside of the town hall. I mean, there's literally not enough space for 1,000 people, so there's a lot of people gathered in kind of this market square at the front too. And what else can I tell you? This is another path out of town. This is the east way, which you should see now on the east of the map. And so if you did want to speak to the town speaker, you would go to the council halls down at the bottom of the map there. I mean, it's early evening at the moment. It's a time of the day. And she says, well, if you head to the town hall, maybe the council hall, you could maybe speak to her, but maybe a thing best done for the morning. But anyway, customers to serve, and he leaves.
Thank you kindly, Scramstacks, as he walks away. What does he look like again? If you don't mind?
He's a human.
Alright.
He's kind of got he's got long hair, but it's kind of balding at the same time. Long grey hair with a patch on the top. Everybody's still dressed up in winter furs, so some of the levels have come out.
Even in the warmth of the Northlook Tavern, it is still cold. In their entire time that Stax and Garrosh have been here, you have not been warm once. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, the cold is just pervasive. So even in this relatively warm place of the Northlook Tavern, it's so cold. So Scramsax has got his bar apron on, but it's kind of over top of furs, and you see him between him serving drinks and doing foods. It seems to be a one-man operation, so he's quite busy. He's wearing gloves when he doesn't absolutely need his fingers, so it is relatively warm in here, but still damn
how
cold.
old does he look? Like 50, 60?
50s-ish. He did say he was a retired adventurer, so he's been around and seen it. Yeah. Okay.
As Scramsax walks away, you will just see Edwin almost inhaling the potato stew that was served, warming his hands and just eating very, very quickly until he finishes first and says, "Oh, well, that was delicious."
Good. So,
Indeed it is.
what do you fellows, do you think we should take a look into this mystery? I mean, all these people, it's a waste of life. I think to just throw them out into the cold.
Well,
I personally, I want to lay low for a little bit, but if you want to take part in it and at least talk to the speaker, I'd accompany you, big friend.
Perhaps. What do you others think?
There might be coin in it, and I'm pretty much bored right now. So, count me in.
Well, I have to go find some interesting things out there. So if our path takes us there, I'm all for it. And I think we have at least another month before the next sacrifice, unless they start sacrificing them every week, which I hope won't happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you think the Cray person will survive until evening? Think we could sneak outside and release him?
We could.
Although I don't think he can return to town. Everybody knows he is being sacrificed.
I also don't think he will survive very long. They stripped him of his clothing and put him out in the winter snow.
That's true.
He might already have passed on.
Let's have
But I am interested.
let's have
in
Stello.
helping this.
Sorry, let's just have. That's right. Let's just have Stello make a survival check. Let's see if you can set the tone for Stello.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah. He's probably already dead. Outside it is about minus 40 degrees. And now a little trivia. I don't know if you know this, but minus 40 degrees is where Celsius and Fahrenheit meet. So it's minus 40 degrees, no matter what we talk about. There's a chance you're going to survive, but you might have to rush to get out there. Naked, 40 degrees stowed. He was bound to the pole in a standing position, so he can't even really huddle down for warmth. There's a chance he might be still alive, but yeah, I think we as players know that you're not going to last long in minus 40 degrees weather. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say he might. So, yeah, he's probably already dead. Horrible.
As you're listening and talking, I mean, there's a lot of people are talking about Cray Sagor, and some of them are, raising their glass to him, and maybe a hat is actually being passed around for his family. The hat does get passed around to your table, so if you want to drop a copper, silver, gold for the family of Cray Sager, you're more than welcome to. Not compulsory though. So sure.
Gold.
Yeah.
Me as well, yeah.
Okay. So you drop in. Okay. So you drop in the various coin, then goes to the next table, and you've been around taverns before, and you know that some people are out to get a free meal or steal a few coppers.
Oh
and
yeah,
some
I wanted to say that I want to keep an eye on that hat as it passes through.
Okay.
It just grabs out gold out.
Okay, you can make a perception check for me then.
Alrighty.
You watch closely.
I'm very small.
So just reaching over all 5 foot of yourself. Things seem to be on the up and up. People are thankful that it's not them. People feel bad for Cray. Well, not so much Cray. Whatever has happened to Cray is done. His life is run. There's nothing to be done for Cray, but for his family and his children, this will definitely help. And those who threw in a gold piece, that is extremely generous. So well done. And so the conversation in the town is talking about Cray, and then the conversation, starts going about. They're talking what they always talk about is, will summer ever return to Icewind Dale? But now the question is, now that the sacrifice is over, there's a lot of people talking about, who do you think will kill the killer's next victim will be? I mean, there's been 3 murders so far in the past month. And just hearing you hear about a halfling trapper in East Haven that was murdered. There's a human shipbuilder in Targars 3 days ago that was murdered. And even here in Bryn Shander, apparently the safest of all of the 10 towns, there was a glass blower, a dwarf that was murdered. And each victim was found with a dagger of ice through their heart. And you hear just this general talk about, they're fearing the cold. They're thankful that it wasn't them who was sacrificed. But there seems to be a killer moving around. So that's the talk of the tavern.
Even murders as well. It's a grim outlook for the town.
Maybe we should inquire about this when we visit the town leader, Duessa.
Yes, and that's a good idea.
I must be honest, I always liked a good mystery, and a murder case I have not solved yet.
There's been a good hunt as well. It's been a while. But at the same time, I'm very curious about those people who were supposedly taken out of the sacrifice pit, the ramble. If there's any truth in that.
Actually, have you noticed that they said the guys they sacrifice actually disappear throughout the night? I mean, who takes them? Just wild animals?
Probably. Wolves, bears. With this cold, food's gone down as well, probably.
True, but there should be something left. I mean, there's not all the parts of a mortal's body that predators consume all of. I mean, it sounds strange to me.
I mean, I would like to make sure that it's not actually Auril taking these poor souls, and it's rather some wild animals. Because if it's really Auril, then shit just hit the fan.
Indeed.
Would Stax have heard anything about there being bloodstains left or bones or that kind of stuff?
There, as I said, you've seen this before. This is not your first rodeo with this. The general assumption is that, as someone pointed out, it is not just the humans that are suffering, it's indeed the wildlife. It is assumed that maybe wolves got them, maybe a yeti got them, something like that. So there's often like clothes remained, maybe some gory remains left, like a hand, something like that. So if it is Auril, she's definitely not taking the entire body, but it's suspected that wild animals get them. The cold gets them first, and then they're somebody's food. Maybe a yeti, maybe a wolf, maybe a bear, something like that.
Stax, Garrosh, you've been here the longest. Do you know where they actually took him? I mean, they said outside of town, but where exactly? Is it close or far away?
I can answer that, but this is what
please.
what you will tell them. They take them about 500 feet outside of town. I mean, along the east pathway. I mean, I'll show you the scale on this map too. Something else I can show you. This is the scale of the map there in the bottom left. And they took them about 500 feet out of town. So along the east way, it's about here. Oops, that's not a very good color. You can see my scribblings on the map there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about where he was sacrificed. And even as you went back into town, man, you lost visibility of him about 100 feet away from where he was. So he's not visible by town, not even close. I mean, it's about 100 feet you have visibility. So once you got back towards the east gate, you lost sight of him. But that's where he would be.
They don't take them far, but there is a bunch of things outside besides imaginary deities, like for example hill giants or yetis. These monsters can make a short process of you.
As you say this, Garrosh, a gentleman, obviously inebriated, he comes right behind you and places a hand on your shoulder. It's kind of firm. So did I hear you right, friend? Did you just say Auril was an imaginary being? Did I hear you right?
Yes, you did.
Listen, Auril is the bitch who's behind all of this. Calling her imaginary is just going to make her angrier.
Whoa, easy,
Sure.
friends. No need to get a party started. My
And-
friend here meant no offense. Sorry.
Maybe your friend could speak for himself. You think Auril is imaginary, friend? And this guy is obviously just shit-faced. He's very drunk.
Yeah, you know what? Prove me wrong.
And he gives you a shove. Make me a general strength check there, Garrosh. Let's see how you can set the tone for your character.
Oh shit. Okay.
Technically, that should be a strength check as opposed to a strength save, which is slightly different. So just click on your strength thing. It shows just D20 plus your...
okay.
That's right. You might get better. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to roll a D20 for this guy. Malcolm sets the tone with his first roll. I mean, Garrosh, you are a half-orc. You are naturally strong. This guy is... I mean, it's hard to tell under his clothes, but he gives you a shove and you don't even move. In fact, he stumbles back a couple of feet. But he gets back his strength and bravery, perhaps from what he'd been drinking, and says, "You need to take that back right now, half-orc, or I'm gonna punch you."
I just laugh. You try.
Okay, and he is going to try. Let's see if I can get better than what's your AC there, Garrosh?
17.
Okay, so he does hit you. Another momentous point in the campaign. You can take 1 point of damage. But he hits you, and you move a little bit, and then he floors back onto the floor, and he's kind of struggling to get to his feet. Garrosh?
I'm gonna pull out a silver coin, and like I said, I'm gonna use magical tinkering to make it smell bad.
Okay.
And I'll raise it up in the air and say, gentlemen, how about you go get 2 more ales for yourself, huh? That's what I imagine. Not Auril, but you getting 2 more mugs of ale. I think that's a better way to spend your evening than fighting here, don't you think?
Valid point.
So while JD is doing that, Garrosh? He did punch you.
Oh yeah. No point in dealing with this wretched fellow anyway.
The guy gets to his feet, grabs the coin off JD, and stumbles back to the bar.
Sort of Edwin in Theodore, actually. But
Yeah, it's Theodore, but...
Oh, sorry.
And
sorry.
The coin smells really bad the whole time.
Okay.
Clutching to it.
Well, he probably doesn't notice this now because he also smelled quite badly. But yeah, sorry, Theodore. I'm still getting used to the voices. But yes. Okay. And while this is also happening, can everybody make me a perception check, please? So everybody gets to roll. Stax hasn't rolled yet. Oh, there you go. Natural 1 to start the campaign. 21, 10, 22. And 16. Okay, very good. So I'm assuming that Stax, your passive perception must be pretty high.
18.
Okay. Unfortunately, you're fascinated by these people, almost getting into a fight. But let's say, or we'll just say, Astello and Theodore. You do notice, while this is happening, there's a dwarf in the corner. Kind of sitting alone, just on a bar stool almost, just in a corner, nursing a beer. And he's just been staring at you guys the whole time.
Hey, Theodore, you see the guy in the back?
I see him. I've noticed him staring at us. But I could go talk to him. I'm very good. I'm very respected
what?
among the dwarves.
Oh shit, they found me. God damn it, I have to... As Edwin gets up and scrambles all the stuff into his bag and tries to get up.
Okay.
I put a hand on your shoulder and what's the rush, Edwin?
I just God damn it. Okay, listen. Promise you'll protect me. There's some bad guys looking after me, and I hope he's not one of them. I try to look around my Goliath friend towards that dwarf he mentioned. Does he look suspicious?
Well, now that you all...
I'm sorry.
Well, now you get a better look at him, and it turns out the him is not a him at all. It's a female dwarf. But you are not the first to make this mistake, and you certainly will not be the last. This dwarf... It's the beard. It is indeed the beard. And you look closely. She has a battle axe and a hand axe kind of strapped to her side. She is wearing studded leather armor. She looks quite elderly, like even for a dwarf. You see some of the wrinkles around her face have very much set in. And she's got a very nasty scar cutting across her nose. Kind of starts in and her eyebrow goes across her nose and down onto her cheek. And
Shit.
yeah,
That girl definitely looks like a bounty hunter. I think I'm dead.
Could I make an insight check to see her intentions, to maybe see if she's hostile or just interesting, curious? Maybe.
sure, absolutely. Let me roll for her. I shall make this a secret roll. Hard to get a read. She is smoking a pipe, and there's lots of smoke around her face as well. But she sees you looking at her as she looks at you. She sees JD obviously flustered and looking in her direction. And so she gets up and starts making her way over towards you.
Edwin's grip around his staff tightens until his knuckles get white.
Stello gets up and kind of positions himself beside Edwin and kind of shielding him with his body.
Standing or sitting?
Standing.
Theodore will stand up onto the chair so he's taller and just stretch his arm as a sign of just chill, guys. She's a dwarf. We can talk to her.
And Garrosh and Stax?
And I bow my head a bit to the dwarf just as a sign of respect. And
Okay.
yeah.
Stax will just remain
before-
seated and look questioningly towards the dwarf. Not really seeing her as a threat yet.
Okay.
Before she comes, I shove the person sitting next to me, and I'm saying like,
Said your YouTuber name.
okay, they are going to date. And,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. So the dwarf comes over and she's, look, friends, no need to worry. And she pulls up a seat and she puts it down, right, and pulls up a seat to the table. Just sit down. Just sit down, friends. There's nothing to worry about. Just have a seat.
Okay.
Now look.
Back down.
Okay.
She
Eyeing
seems
her
fine.
suspiciously up and down and try to get into, like, see what her intentions are. Is she looking for me?
You can make an insight check if you like. Okay. Yeah, just by her demeanor, you know she's definitely not out here just to kill you in cold blood in the tavern. So that's something. So your fear is slightly decreased.
Alrighty.
I'll offer the dwarf my hand and I'll say, Theodore Strom, I'm an associate engineer for the clan Stonehand. Nice to meet you, Master Dwarf. Or Mr. Dwarf.
It's an understandable mistake. So my name is Hlyn Trollbane. Hlyn Trollbane, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'll put that in the chat so you can see spelling if you're keeping notes. Hlyn Trollbane. And I couldn't help but notice you come in, and you seem... I did overhear some people talking about some adventure and some deeds to do, so I might have something for you if you're interested.
By all means. Doesn't hurt to hear you out.
Okay, well...
As long as you leave afterwards, I don't trust you.
Well, I don't blame you, friend. These are difficult times, so I don't blame you. But I'm sure you fine folks. I mean, we very eclectic to say the least, and not one of you looks the same as the other. So that is good, I guess. And she takes a long draw of her pipe, and she says, "Look, my bones are getting old, real old. I'm not really much up for this myself. I've got a few coins from working as a bounty hunter over the years, but I've made one or too many enemies up and down the Sword Coast, and I found myself up in here in Icewind Dale. I mean, if nothing else you can say about Icewind Dale, that it is easy to become anonymous here. People don't come looking for you here. People don't ask questions, so one too many enemies up and down the Sword Coast. So I've chose to settle down here."
Theodore shrugs at Edwin at her mention of that people come here to disappear. Nobody looks for you in this town. Just to calm him down a bit.
Yeah.
Well, she's certainly here, and she's a bounty hunter, as she said.
Retired bounty hunter.
I think she's lying.
You can make an insight check if you like.
Again, another one. Sure. I've taken the old one. 14, slightly better.
You can't get a read on her.
You were saying something about an offer?
Well, yes. So, Icewind Dale can, if you find a safe place, have become quite the place for boredom. And I said my bounty hunting days are past me. But I feel I need to do this out of a sense of a bit of moral decency on my behalf. And I'm sure you've heard about the killings that have been happening, not only here but in other towns as well. And I'm doing a little bit of investigating upon this. Because no one else, not even the Council of Speakers. And just an aside, some of you will know that the Council of Speakers, each one of the 10 towns has a speaker, and they occasionally get together and make decisions about the 10 towns. So that's the Council of Speakers. And she goes on, like, no one's investigating these murders, not even the Council of Speakers can't be bothered even looking into this. And I'm not sure if you're the type of people who would be interested in doing this. I mean, I don't know your metal, I just saw you. And he gestures over to Gross. I just saw you get punched by a drunkard. So I'm not sure if you're up to type of this thing. I'm not sure if you're the right people I should be talking to.
Oh dear, I could just split it in half, but does it make sense? Another meaningless death tonight? I don't think so.
Yeah, you raise a good point, friend. You raise a good point.
Yeah, there's no need for more death today.
But there might be need for some more ale. And I beckon the innkeeper back to bring us another round.
Okay. So,
Hey!
Including for the dwarf.
Okay, so the barkeep comes around and dumps the ale onto your chest, onto the table, and so there's another 5 copper pieces per ale.
I'll get that for all of them,
Okay.
for all of us. That's 6 ales, right?
Yep, and that is expensive for ale, but these are expensive times, It's classic supply and demand.
We are health, my friend.
And she nods and goes back, and Scramp Sacks goes back to busying his keeping busy. So, so is this something you're interested in, or am I talking to the wrong people?
I mean, perhaps. I mean, do you think it's tied to this frozen mystery That's keeping the 10 towns under this sheet of ice.
I don't see how the two would be connected, friend. I mean, murders happen up and down this Sword Coast, whether it's in that wretched city of Baldur's Gate or somewhere more civilized like Waterdeep. These murders happen all around the place. Maybe the person is making use of the cover provided by snow, but I don't think they're directly connected. But there is something interesting about all of the victims. They all came back. They were all found with an ice knife in their heart. Like literally made of ice. And in these cold times, the ice did not melt. But it seemed to be just ice.
That's a bad omen.
Any other commonalities between the victims, besides the murder weapon?
Well, something is interesting about them is everything happens around the time of a human sacrifice. Like there was the halfling, I believe, that was murdered in Bryn Shander. That was just last night. The other ones, I mean, there are 3 towns around here that all have human sacrifices. And it always happens at around the time of the new moon. And it always happens around the time of the sacrifice. I mean, here in Bryn Shander, they do the human sacrifice. In East Haven and Targos as well. That's where this tend to be happening. So maybe that's a clue. Maybe that's nothing. I don't know. And I'll just drag you over to the Icewind Dale map. So you can get a picture of where everything lays out. Just wait for... It's just loading up for me. I shall fix that.
Could you repeat which 3 towns already had murders happen there?
I put it in the chat, so have a look at the chat. They're all listed
thanks.
there.
Bryn Shander, East Haven, and Tarkus.
Yep, and I shall take the dynamic lighting off, so you should see it now.
There we go.
Yep, so you're right here in Bryn Shander. Targos is here, and East Haven is here. So they're all along this road along there. So tell us, she carries on, Lynn, and she says, so they're all happening around the time of the sacrifices, all along these 3 towns, which are the only 3 towns that do human sacrifices. And I heard you talking to Scramsax, and I couldn't agree more. It's bloody stupid what they're doing, but, you know, desperate times, desperate measures, it's an issue. So, I mean, before I give you more information, are you the type of people who care about these murders, or are you just in it for gold?
I don't really care for monetary gains, but if I can assist good people of 10 towns, I would be willing to assist.
I would just love a good mystery, especially if we solve it. So I'm in.
Okay. Well, let's list 2 of you with a bit of backbone. What were you saying, Elf? Stacks, I believe, right? I've seen you around. What do you say?
I'd be interested in a good hunt as well.
Okay.
And some monetary gain could be helpful to finally get a proper bow again.
Well, to be honest, there's no reward out for these people. The Council of Speakers aren't interested. Maybe if you bring this killer to justice, maybe he stole the goods from the people he murdered. That would be the only treasure in this for you.
Well, not much else to do around here anyway. I say better that than sitting in the inn whole day long, right?
Well, let me tell you more information then. So I suspect it's this gentleman called Cephik Cultro. Once again, I'll put that into the chat for you. Pacific culture. And the interesting thing, he's mysterious. Despite the cold weather, he looks comfortable in this weather. No coat, no scarf, no gloves even. As if the cold couldn't even touch him. So
He's a Goliath?
no, human. He's a human. You're right, Goliath. Yeah, do feel better than most in this cold, but he's a human, it seems. So maybe he's been kissed by the Frostmaiden herself. I don't know. The interesting thing about Sifik as well, and he gestures to she gestures to Garrosh and Stax again and said, you two have probably no doubt seen Torg's merchant traveling company. It's owned by old Torga Icevein, and this slightly dodgy merchant. He's been traveling from town to town, setting up some awnings and selling what everybody knows is probably stolen goods, but desperate times, desperate methods. And Sifik Cultro seems to be working for Torga Icevein with an N. But so if you track down Torga's traveling merchant company, maybe you'll find Sifik there and maybe catch him in the act and something like this. Now, despite this being a really, really not the best place in the world, I'd be much happier up in the climes of somewhere like Waterdeep. But I can't feel it's my moral duty. I tell you what, you guys seem a little bit down on your luck. Some of you are new to town. I'm willing to... you seem kind of not quite sure whether to say this or not, but he does say it in the end. And it says, I will pay you 100 gold pieces to apprehend Sifik Cultro, ascertain his guilt, and deal with him, preferably without involving the authorities. When this job is done, return to me to collect your money. What do you say, friends? Do we have a deal?
I would like to see whether she doesn't have like a personal interest in this.
Okay.
Against.
And
Maybe she's trying to send us against someone she hates for unrelated reasons.
And how are you doing that, Garrosh? Are you going to talk to him? You going to incite him? How are you doing it?
I'm trying to discern it from her body language.
Okay, that would be an insight check then.
If she's telling the truth, like leading us right.
You study this dwarf's body language, and you get the sense that she's pretty much on the level. She obviously wants this dealt with. No one wants to see murders. Just looking from her face, she does have that scar across it. She's seen some things in her time. She did say she was a bounty hunter. So you get the impression that she's on the up and up and just wants to do the moral thing and bring this to justice. And she also said she was too old to do it herself. So you do get the impression she's on the up and up. So what do you say, friends? 100 gold pieces.
Well, what proof do we have that he's the murderer?
Well, we have the ice daggers stuck into these things. He does look suspicious without the scarf, the coat, the gloves. So it seems cold would not touch him, and maybe a dagger of ice would match the person who does not appear to be affected by this by the cold.
We could also just check to see if he does anything suspicious while we're on the hunt.
Oh yeah, we could follow him, shadow him, and try to catch him in the act.
Look, I have a theory as well about why Sifik is killing 10 towners. I mean, we had a sacrifice tonight, which was unfortunate. I did not know Cray Sager myself, but I'm sure he was a decent fellow. There are rumours around that are never proven or disproven that people are cheating their way out of these sacrifices. You know, maybe writing down their neighbour's name, maybe not putting their name in at all. There is people
Just for the record, I cheated as well. I would use prestidigitation to project my name on that paper instead of actually writing it down, if that's possible.
Sure. And then I assume the writing disappears not long after.
For an hour.
Sure. Okay, so that's fine. So the rumours abound that people cheat out of this. I mean, there are checks and balances in place, but a bribe can go a long way. Maybe some magic users are cheating their way out of it as well. So my theory is that Sifik is somehow annoyed at this people cheating their way out of becoming sacrifices to Auril. So maybe he's doing the justice. Maybe he suspects people have cheated their way out of the sacrifice. So my theory is that he's killing the 10 towners who cheat their way out of becoming sacrifices to Auril. And maybe he feels that they should have been sacrificed to the Frostmaiden all along. Now, I am too old and frail to apprehend Sifik, but that's my working theory.
Did you say
I'm willing to take.
Torga's caravans travel between towns? They travel between Targos, Brinchander, and East Haven?
They travel between all the towns. So
all the towns, okay.
I mean,
So if he's moving with them, he would have the opportunity.
yeah. But as I said, maybe it's a coincidence that it's in Targos, Brinchander, and East Haven, but who knows? The only place he doesn't go is Caer Dinival and Caer Konig. I mean, as I'm sure you know, gesturing to the locals, that those two castles, keeps, they used to get their goods from East Haven, and they used to take things up and down the lake. That's how they got their supplies. The road there is quite treacherous. So those two places have been cut off. I wish them well, but it seems as if no help is coming to them anytime soon. And I take them across the loch there. So if you do want to search Caer Dinival and Caer Konig, unlikely they'll be there.
And do you also know where the next sacrifice is going to be?
Well, they all happen around the time of the new moon, so I assume there are 3 sacrifices tonight. I mean, you saw Paul Cray. I'm sure there was one in East Haven and Targos as well tonight. So,
And
if you want...
murders already happened for each of these towns? For this sacrifice?
As I said, I've been bounty hunting. I've been checking this out myself. When I heard about the East Haven was the first one, so I headed over there, and it was the time of the sacrifice. And then a month later, it was in Targos, the murder itself, during the time of the sacrifice. And now here, Bryn Shander, a murder around the time of the sacrifice. Now, your inherent problem is that Sifik Cultro and old Torg's merchant company, they move around a lot. So good luck finding them. They might, I checked, they're no longer here. They might have headed to Targos. They might have headed to East Haven. Those are the 2 most obvious places from here, but they could have gone down to Goodmead, Dugan's Hole, who knows, Bremen.
do they have like offices in this town where they would keep records of their where they are, their locations at any given time?
As I said, everybody knows the goods are stolen, but everybody also knows that desperate people need stuff. No formal records.
That would make sense, yes.
So Targos, East Haven, but he could have gone anywhere. Those are just guesses. I mean, I don't know if Torgs knows, old Torga knows what Sefik is doing. I mean, old Torga Icevane is, just trying to make some coin. Not the most moral of people. Everybody knows the gods are stolen, but he's just trying to make some coin. He may or may not know that Sefik culture is killing these people. As I said, this is all my theory. If you do find a way to prove his guilt, maybe if you located where the caravan is, if it's around the time of the new moon, and that might be a good place to start. Maybe you have some other ideas, but if you wanted to catch him in the act, which would no doubt prove his guilt, that might be a way to do it. But those are my thoughts.
I'd be interested in looking into this. I mean, I see no solid proof that Sefik is the murderer, but we could do a little investigating. And I do wonder, would the dead body in Brimshander, the person who was killed yesterday or a few days ago, be available for inspection?
You'll need to talk to the town speaker for that, but sure can be arranged.
That would be great. I mean, I do have some things I want to check. Would the murder weapon be available still, or has it melted when you brought it into a warmer climate?
Warmer climate?
I mean, any house would probably be warmer than outside, but which would mean the ice dagger would melt unless you left it outside.
Once again, talk to the town speaker. That's a good idea, though. So go talk to Speaker Duvasay Shane, and maybe she can help you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for this information. And if you hear anything else useful, please find us.
Okay. Well, I'll be around this tavern, quietly spending the gold I spent on my adventuring. But good luck to you, and always open for questions.
Did you know any of the murder with?
Well, no, I didn't. The person that was murdered here was a dwarven glassblower. So check that person out. That was a person that was murdered, rather. So, yeah.
Can I check around the pub if I see some shady person?
Make a perception check.
Very good.
You see, it kind of works, but it works too well. Everybody looks shady in here. And a lot of people, I should say, look shady in here. I mean, no one's happy in here. Those two that are local around to the 10 Towers, you know that everybody's just miserable. I mean...
So, guys and Stacks, might be a good idea to kind of ask around maybe if they are indeed stealing and selling stolen goods. They must have some buyers who have a way to contact them or at least know where they are, right? So we might pose as like wanting to work with them or something like that. You know, try to persuade to tell us a bit about their location, maybe.
That's a good idea.
That could be possible, but I'm not
I
sure.
I don't know anyone here really, besides a few people I worked with on the caravans. So
That might be a start though, because I'm not the most sociable person. I haven't really met many people here.
so GM, do you think I can? Do I have some contact or someone from the caravans I could ask?
You could. That's going to be very much a job. You could ask around in this inn if you like, but a lot of people have just retired to their homes. It's early evening and it's getting even colder. So you can. You'd have more luck in the morning.
All right, so I'll just try to find someone I had spoken with before, at least, and come up to them and say like, "Good evening, cheers. How's it going tonight? It's not a good night, right? It's a shame, the sacrifice. I'm looking for work. In these times it's hard to get by on work, and I've heard Torgal Iceway was looking for some guards for his caravan. Would you happen to know maybe where he was right now?
Who are you talking to exactly, sorry? Just a random person?
Yeah, just a random person. Yeah.
So you do find a random person. It's not hard. It's a female. She's about 30, 35, red hair pulled back into a tight ponytail. Once again, covered in furs from head to foot. She's kind of keeping her arms open. She says, "You're looking for guarding for old Torger, are you?"
Yeah, obviously I'm, made for that kind of.
Well, I mean, he was here yesterday. You just missed him. Yeah. I'm not sure how I can help you. I mean, maybe he travels around. He could be anywhere. Might be best if you ask him yourself.
Probably not that far though, because it's quite a way to the further downs, right? So it might be close. Might be not that far, maybe in Targos.
Well, I mean, if we travel to East Haven, that's a good 7.5 hour walk. Targos is a bit closer, 2 hours. So I don't know.
Thanks anyway. Okay, I go back to table.
Okay. And while Garash, I think, was doing that, you do over here some people talking. They've kind of moved on from talks of the sacrifice, of moaning about Auril in particular, and you hear them. There's a person talking to his friend, kind of a table or two over, and while Garash is off trying to find some leads, you hear them talking, and they're talking about some rumors that they've heard. And they heard a rumor that in Targos, which is one of the places where the murders happened, there was a band of adventurers who were planning a trip to Calvin's Cairn, which I will show you on the map, just to the north of Brinshan, northeast kind of thing. And they're you hear them that they're planning an expedition up the side of Calvin's Cairn, and they're hoping to find. It sounds weird, but it sounds like they're trying to find a Goliath lycanthrope who can transfer into a polar bear. And they say maybe they're searching for Oyamen Nartok himself, who's apparently this Goliath lycanthrope. So you hear them talking about how somebody was hitting up there, looking for a Oyamin Nartok, a Goliath lycanthrope.
And who do we hear? Who do we overhear saying that?
There's a group of about three people just across the table from you.
Stella would like to walk over to the table and ask them, did you say someone were looking for Oyaminartok?
Yeah. Apparently they're heading up Calvin's cairn to look for. Well, and that's my guess, but I know they're definitely having an expedition up Calvin's cairn.
Is she there? Thank you for the information.
You're most welcome.
I go over to sit back down at the table and yeah.
Any special reason you were interested in that name?
Oh, it's might be an acquaintance of mine. Maybe I'm not sure. It could be a lead.
Someone you're looking for?
Yes. That's why I'm here in Bryn Shander. I'm looking for a good friend of mine. She's been missing for a while, and that sounded like a good lead, maybe.
And someone shouts from across the table that you're at, "Hey friend! I can't hear you say you're looking for someone. If you do want to track these people down, you better hurry. You might catch them in Targos. They're leaving, so if you do want to catch them, you're going to have to leave first thing in the morning." And then they go back to drinking their beer.
Olagiti, thank you. Where did you say the Torga is caravan? Is it going to East Haven or Targos?
We don't actually know. It could be either one of those towns. So if we're just taking a chance, we might as well go to Targos. But I'm not sure if we should go first thing in the morning. We wanted to talk to the town councillor here.
Yeah, let's make sure first, yes.
Well, it's pretty late already, and if we want to talk to her, it's probably better to do that in the morning.
Yes.
At least that's what Scramside said.
Does this inn look like it's offering rooms as well?
Yes.
Okay, I guess I'll wave Scramshack over and ask about the prices and availability, of course.
Sure. What can I help you with, friend?
I was wondering, we need to spend the night somewhere. How are your rooms? Are they full,
lodging.
or
We're looking for
could you
lodging.
put us up?
We have a couple of rooms free. Maybe one of you couple you'd have to sleep on the floor, but for 2 silver pieces, I have 2 rooms available.
Stax, Garage, do you have your own rooms, or do you wanna join us?
I'll join you here for tonight, especially if you're gonna leave tomorrow morning. But if we're gonna speak to the council, didn't we already just hear that they don't want anything to do with this murdering business, or at least don't care for the moment?
Yes, but we wanted to ask them about the sacrifices and other things, right?
And the victim.
I mean,
You might be
we
able
don't-
to get to the body.
Oh, yes, of course. Forgot. And I was the one who asked. Of course, yes. Well, I hope she wakes up early, because we're gonna wake her up.
Yes, I understand, but didn't Stella would need to go to Targus earliest in the morning if she wanted to, yeah, um, go with the
Yes,
group
the only
going to
thing I'm
Kelvin Cairn.
concerned. I mean, I would go to Targus with him as early as possible, but I don't want the body to disappear, or especially the murder weapon. That's what I wanted to look at.
Yes, I agree. I mean, it's a good lead for my little quest, but I prefer to stick around with you people and see if we can figure this out. I mean, it all works out in the end. It's a little.
If we find the murderer, we don't get murdered.
Yes, that is true.
I heard the conversation when I came back to the table, and I say, all right, so if we need to catch those adventurers, we might want to split. Maybe some of us can go Dargos, I know the way, catch with them, find out anything they know, and then we can meet up in Targos later when you are done with your business in the council hall. What do you say?
That's an option as well. But does this town have stables?
Yes,
I
it
would
does.
ask Stax and Garish.
Is it?
They got it in the south, sure.
I know they're on the map, but I wouldn't know because I just arrived.
Yeah, but they are there. Yeah.
Well, maybe we could rent some horses and make like better time towards Targus. Catch up with,
There are
Carol.
no horses available in the entire 10 towns. If you're looking to speed up your transport, you have a couple of options. And well done for thinking about splitting the party in the first session. That always works out well in D&D. So kudos for that. You still need to deal with your first door, which often also screws up parties. But if you're looking for faster travel around here, you can you can buy a dog and a dog sled. Each person would need a dog and a dog sled. And that approximately halves your travel time. You could also invest in some snowshoes, which is a cheaper option, not as good as the dogs, but it will definitely help. I'm going to say that the three who arrived, you guys did it the hard way. Yeah, and maybe Theodore needs a slightly smaller animal, but dog sled is one of them. The other option that you've seen around, it's kind of the luxury option, as it were, something called an axe-beak. And I'll see if I can find a picture of that for you. Yeah, I do have a picture. And this is another option. They're called axe-beaks. And this is another way you could travel around.
Ooh.
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
That looks good.
But depending on your coin situation, yeah, it's tricky. But that would be
How much would a pair of snowshoes be?
Just a second.
X-Bigs sound like we could have a lot of food if they screw up and get lost.
Feel free to call them. Feel free to call them tauntauns if you want.
Call them what?
Tauntauns, isn't that the thing from Empire Strikes Back?
Ah.
Not really a Star Wars fan myself.
Ah, yeah.
So XP it is. How much would one cost approximately?
I'm just looking that up. It does have it
We
here.
could probably hire them for a day or however long we need to get
Rent
to.
them, yeah.
Yeah, just rent them and leave them there in Targus.
With some persuasion or some other things that we could.
Yeah, it's like a rent-a-car, hire it in one place.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
Just leave your ID for security and everything's fine. So since we arrived in Prince Shandar and I believe we're not all very well suited for the cold, is there anything like winter's clothing? Because I presume we would freeze to death otherwise.
You all have suitable winter clothing.
We have, alright.
You all have suitable winter clothing.
Sweet.
Sorry, still struggling. It is in the book. I did read it, but I can't find it. But I can say, but also with the dog sled, they do get you there quicker, but they do require food and shelter. So there are ongoing expenses with the dogs. Definitely a factor in early adventures when every copper counts. But you do need to maintain the dogs, but it does approximately half you one. Okay, here we go. So an empty dog sled costs 20 gold pieces and has room in the back for one driver. And it can pull about 360 pounds. And the dogs must take a risk. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever run with dogs, but once dogs don't want to run, they don't want to run. They need to stop and cool down. You can push the dogs, of course, but you're risking exhaustion. And axe speak. Some places have very few things available. Some things have a lot of things available. You're definitely in the place to buy stuff. Bryn Shander. If you can't find it in Bryn Shander, you won't find it anywhere. Axe speak. They've got very wide feet, so they can run across it. And carry as much weight as a mule. And it can be purchased for 50 gold pieces. So that's expensive. And snowshoes. Are a gold piece. I'm going to say both Garrosh and Stax, you have a suitable pair of snowshoes already, having lived in here for a while.
Seems like we're walking for now, yeah.
Mm.
Just hypothetically, I believe a gnome and a fairly small human would fit on a sleigh together, right? With a mount.
Sure. So
I have lots of luggage.
That definitely no. Okay.
Okay.
So I suppose we buy some snowshoes. And the first thing in the morning, we grab some snowshoes. Maybe even scrum sacks can get us some, and then we leave for Targos.
Okay.
Is that a plan? Are we all on board?
Are we gonna try to see the dead body first? Like, just take a half an hour if they let us, and then go towards Targus?
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Sounds reasonable.
Hopefully half an hour won't be like... it won't be just half an hour too late in Targus.
the entire quest fails, and the entire Icewind Dale is forever cursed by by Auril because of this half-hour delay. You guys really screwed it up. Okay, new campaign. Okay, so let's say you guys settle your bill up with Scramsaw, and you take between you need to come up with 4 silver pieces for the rooms, and Scramsack shows you up into your room. There is 2 beds, but he lays down some mattresses that have seen better day, that he pulls up from an old cupboard, and he lays it down, and he puts 2 of these mattresses in one of the rooms and one of the mattresses in the other of the room. Feel free to arrange yourself and sort out who sleeps where, because there is only 2 beds in 2 rooms.
Well, Fyodor, I believe we two and our big friend Starlo shall share a room, right?
Yes,
I'll take
yes, I
the
think so.
mattress.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Starlo. I hoped you would say that, actually.
I can sleep on the floor. I'll engineer something. I'm small. I won't need much.
But Starlo doesn't even fit in the bed.
How tall is Stello?
About 7.5. So let's see, that should be about 2 meters, 20, 30 centimeters.
Yeah, he's a big guy. I mean, you're definitely not stretching out in that bed. You're more like a fetal position sleeping if you did sleep in that.
Yeah, I think it'll take the mattress on the floor. Feels more au natural.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll pay for the other room, so you silver points.
Okay.
I'll cover our room, the 2 silver.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, who's sleeping on the bed between Garrosh and Stax?
Oh, you can have the bed. I don't need much time in it anyway.
Okay. So you're...
We'll just take a seating position with blanket over her in a corner.
Okay, so you all gather and sleep. Stax, of course, you don't need a lot of sleep, but you do spend some time in meditation, contemplating your elfin genealogy and other elfin things. And there are some blankets on the bed. You are all still cold. I mean, you hear the wind howling outside. It's bad. It gets colder at night, and but eventually sleep does take you. You wake up. It's a horrible day outside. Blizzard's blowing. It's cold. Yeah, and you wake up. What do you wish to do?
I'd suggest before we continue, we take a quick break of like 5 minutes, if you don't mind, just to restock on beverages and hit the bathroom real quick.
Sure.
Okay.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
So 5-minute break, in other words.
All right.
Yeah, and Grosh, you get your hit point back.
Yeah, thanks.
Alrighty, I'm good to go as well.
All right. So we got here. We got Greg. You're here.
Yes.
JD's here.
David might be missing. Okay.
Yep.
Max.
Stacks. Christian, you here? Oh, there we go.
Yep.
So we're just waiting for Peter. But that's he's ready too. Okay, good. Okay, so you get a good night's sleep. Do you grab some food first, or do you just head off to the? Actually, I should put you across to that map. To the council hall.
If breakfast is available already, then I think we should get some, because it's gonna be probably the last warm meal until we get to Targos.
Yeah, I could create some good berries, but I think we will save that for situations where we need some food and we're
Sure.
Okay.
Easy enough to do. So let's say the very simple breakfast is provided by your friendly neighborhood innkeeper. It's just porridge. It is.
Sweet, I love porridge.
It is warm, but not hot. But given the weather, you'd take anything you possibly could. So let's say that set you back a copper piece for porridge. We don't need to role play this out necessarily. And Scram Sacks, thanks you for your business and leaves you to your own devices. The inn is not nearly as well frequented as it was the night before. People have made their way home or up into other rooms, perhaps.
How much did the rooms cost? I didn't deduct that. Sorry.
Two silver pieces per room.
Okay.
But I covered
Edwin paid for ours.
Okay, next one's on me.
Don't you worry, old friend.
Thanks.
So,
shall we go to the town speaker and then Targus? We're a bit on a timetable here.
Well, actually, we still wanted to get some snow boots, right?
True. True.
Scramsax, would you know where we could get some snowshoes? I saw guys with these huge things on their feet so they don't just into the snow.
oh yeah, of course. If you go to there's a smithy and an outfitter not far from here called Black Iron Blades. It's a kind of a combination shop and a smithy. Go there, they'll sort you out.
Thanks, pal. Gonna head there right now. It was a pleasure staying here. Hope we see you again.
Take care out there. Take care.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Okay, he nods. And you guys make your way across to Black Iron Blades. It's a little bit south of where you are. It takes a few minutes to get there. And you see it's very much a general outfitter shop, but it does some smithing work here. So if you wanted to purchase a long sword or something like that, this would really be the place to do it. And you see as you enter, there's a dwarf there, big golden beard almost, and he's just trying to arrange stock, and he says, "Greetings, friends. What can I get for you?"
Snowshoes.
"Can you old fool, sit down. I got this." And another a dwarf comes out and she starts berating the other guy. "You're as useless at sales as the day you were born. Go back to the smith and keep producing those crappy swords you do. I got this. Sorry. And they argue back and forth a bit. She says, Hi friends, Stack Scrosh, good to see you again. And she introduces herself as Elza. Elza, so what can I get for you? Ice picks, snowshoes, rations, cold weather gear. What can I get for you?
Snowshoes.
Snowshoes. We sell the best snowshoes in the whole of the 10 towns. Yours for only 2 gold pieces.
That's expensive. I thought they were half.
Oh, well, you know, times are tough and all those things. We need to make the best of what we can. So, yeah, 2 gold pieces. You can make a persuasion check, though, if you like. And I...
Can I assist him? Like,
You
say,
can.
We're investigating the murders, and our path leads us to Targos. We need those
It's for
snowshoes.
the common good.
Yes.
Make your persuasion check at advantage.
Very well. Sweet.
Oh, I tell you what, well, I actually knew the guy that was murdered. Oh, Drake was his name. It's affected the whole... The glassblower, yeah, that it says it's affected the dwarven community quite a lot. So I can give it to you for a gold piece. And here, are you mad, woman? We're selling those for 2 gold pieces. What, are you crazy? Look, you do the metalwork, I'll sort this out. And they start arguing back and forth. But she says, don't mind him. A gold piece it is. And she goes, you and everybody who wants one now has a pair of snowshoes. Getting around. Sure, getting around Brent Shander is pretty easy because, quite frankly, people just pack the snow down, going about their business. But once you go out the city gates, these will be most useful. All right, well, be sure to come back to Black Iron Blades. Sell the best rations, cold weather gear, ice picks, anything you could possibly need. And yeah.
And what was your name again?
Oh, my name is Elza. And that idiot out the back is Garn. He's my brother. So I'm Elza. And that's my husband. Garn.
Garn, I see. You know, that's funny, actually. Do you know that tale about that, like, frozen princess who lives in a secluded, like, chateau? She's called Elza as well.
I've heard about it, but I decided not to listen to it and just let it go.
You remind me of her, honestly. Like, as beautiful as she is described. Definitely.
Aye, you're a charmer for sure. And as the father of a 6-year-old daughter, I can assure you that her name is Elsa, not Elza. I've watched that movie more times than I should.
I actually have not watched it, but it's Elsa, no?
It's Elsa, yeah, with an S.
Yeah,
That's close.
Yeah, I know.
That's close. Yeah.
It's close enough for a reference, right?
It is. I got the reference.
And I'm proficient in history, so I know.
Yep. Okay, so you get your snowshoes and you make your way out of it. And Garrosh, I'll say Garrosh says this, so I'll just take over Garrosh for a second. I'll play him. And he says that Black Iron Blades, they make... The rations and everything is fine, but the arms they make are not the best. They're known to be brittle, and there's obviously jokes told around town that adventurers dying because they were carrying a black iron blade. Like they're attacked by a yeti or something, they swing with their blade and the blade breaks. So it's good for general stuff, but you wouldn't trust your life with a black iron blade. So that's just something Garrosh and Stax know. It's almost a bit of a joke around town.
While we're still there, they mentioned they have ice picks. How much for an ice pick?
Sure, I can sell you an ice pick. And the DM goes to his... It'll just be players' handbooks prices, but 50% on top because things are expensive here. But I shall look that up for you.
You mean minus 50%?
It's more expensive. But we'll get there. So adventuring gear, that sounds like the section to look at. So an ice pick. Probably doesn't have ice pick directly.
Maybe pickaxe, probably the same.
Let's see.
Close enough, I believe.
A miner's... Yeah, a miner's pick. which is probably the closest thing to an ice pick, will set you back 3 gold pieces.
Too rich for this person. Yeah, I'll maybe next time. Thank you.
Okay.
And we all die because we don't have an ice pick.
Oh, and then all this time I could have been playing Sounds of the Black Iron Blade. So we'll play that for a bit because I'm lost.
Yeah, I tell him, don't worry, friend. I have some pythons, some rope, so in case we fall in somewhere, anyway, we can get out. We don't need an ice pick.
Well, you and me both. I have those as well. So
See,
I guess we're covered.
okay, fine.
All right.
Yeah, they're boiling some coffee or something.
That's the steam release from the smithy. But yeah. Okay, so what do you guys do? Do you head to town, to the town hall?
Well, my friends, I believe we have everything we need.
Yeah, should we inspect the body like Greg suggested?
Sure, let's hit the road and go to the town hall.
Okay, so you head over to the town hall. The doors are not locked. You can wander in, and there's a half-orc female at kind of like a reception desk, and she says, "Good morning, folks. What can I help you with?"
Well, it's about the murder. You see, we're investigating, and we were hoping if we could inspect the dear departed to see if we could gain some leads.
Well, you'll need to speak to the town speaker to arrange that. You're in luck. She just came in. Can I just take your names? And she opens up a ledger. You're kind of checking in. Do you all...
Yes, I say. My name is Stallo.
Stallo, yes. Unless
I'll
any...
say. And have you met our friend Garash?
Garash,
He's also
got it.
half orc, and he's a fighter and a lover.
You successfully managed to make a half-orc female blush. And Stax, I know you, Stax. And Garash, nice to see you again. And who are you, my gnome friend?
Theodore Strom.
And you, sir, she says, pointing at Edwin.
Our quiet friend, his name is Edwin.
Edwin, okay. So she jots all those down, and she says, "Okay, come with me. We'll go and see the town speaker." And I'll bring up the art for her again so you can see her. Her name is once again Speaker Duvachet Shane. Most people call her Speaker Shane. And you see her, she's in her office, and she's doing some sort of paperwork, and she's saying, she says, puts down a paperwork and says, "Good day, friends. Greetings. Don't know most of you, but welcome to Bryn Shander in these cold times. What can I help you with?"
Well, we are investigators looking into the murders that's been happening there and in the other towns. The glassblower, I think his name was Drake.
Yeah, Drake,
killed
yes.
with an ice knife.
Yeah, well, not how much I can tell you. He was murdered. We have no leads, and quite frankly, just dealing with this winter is taking most of the council's time. So I'm not sure how much I can help I can be, but any questions I'd be more than happy to answer.
Well, we were hoping to inspect the body. Was that right, Theodore?
Exactly, if possible,
And
and
the murder weapon.
especially the murder weapon, if possible,
Well,
if it's still available.
we these are difficult times. I'm trying my best to deal with the madness caused by this never-ending winter, and but we need to give at least the appearance of loyalty here. I don't think I can really spare the resources to investigate this murder. But as I said, we need to keep up appearances, and we have the body stored downstairs in the cellar. We will make some, I guess, token inquiries once again, just to keep up appearances. But with this blasted winter, I just don't have the time. But you're more than welcome to inspect the body. The dreadful weapon that used to murder poor old Drake is still there. You're more than welcome to inspect it. But as I said, this winter is something else. Food is scarce, wood is scarce, everything is scarce. I mean, we try our best to trade with towns. Some of them hold on to more than they should. I know you, Garrosh, brought in the honey mead yesterday, the mead. It's probably already gone by now. So, times are grim. But help yourself. My half-orc secretary here will help you down.
Thank you. Do you know if maybe anyone had a grudge against this dwarf that was murdered?
She leans back in her chair, and once again she's covered in furs. Nothing especially against old Drake. I mean, he was a simple glass blower, but people come to Icewind Dale to lose themselves. I mean, I know for sure that people have done terrible things up and down the north coast, and they find their way down to the 10 towns. So, we're a town. There's decent folk here, but it's fair to say we have our fair share of murder and thieves here as well. So, people come to disappear. Maybe old Drake had a grudge with someone. I didn't know him personally, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay, thank you. If you don't mind, we'll check the body, and then we'll be on our way. Unless somebody else has questions, of course.
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna whisper in Fyodor's ears that I just zoned out for the past 10 minutes and have not understood anything.
Don't worry. Let's just go to the cellar where the body and the weapon are, and we'll inspect them.
Okay.
Right, and I'm gonna go completely back up. Yeah, let's go to the.
Okay, so the half-orc female leads you down. She's quite old, and she's kind of adjusting her glasses as she goes down. And it is definitely colder in the cellar. And you see the corpse of Drake. The half-orc secretary continues to just stay there, just to make sure you don't do anything untowards. But the body is kind of more or less laid on the ground, with some type of ice knife stuck into his chest.
I will
walk forward. Sorry. I will walk forward and try to investigate the body to see if there are any marks of the Frostmaiden, and to see if the wounds are just purely physical or if there's a magical damage as well.
Sure, well, you can make me a medicine check there. Medicine, 12. So you get a close look at the body.
I mean, body warmth does keep you warm a little bit, but once the warmth left this guy, he's frozen pretty solid. There doesn't appear to be any weird markings on him, like symbols of the Frostmaiden or anything like that. Just appears to be plain old cold-blooded murder. It's didn't even take a medicine check to notice that a large knife sticking out of one's chest is not conducive to health.
So he's stabbed in the chest, not the back.
Yep, right in the chest. Yep.
But you know, specific frostbitten marks that are like frost burns.
No. I mean, apart from the fact that it's a dagger that has pierced his chest. Apart from the fact that it's made of ice, it looks exactly like a dagger. It's not like a shard of ice. It looks like a dagger. But if you took it out and put it over fire, you suspect it would melt. But it bears a striking resemblance to a dagger, as if someone... You don't know. It does look like a dagger. I'll let you draw your own conclusions about this. And Theodore Strom, you do cast your Detect Magic as a ritual. Spend 10 minutes. Nothing magical of note. Probably nothing
Not
magical
even the
at all.
dagger.
The dagger is not magical.
Interesting.
I want to have a description of the ritual casting, please.
Yes. How does Theodore cast his ritual?
I sit down on the floor and put my tinker's tools and my thief's tools around me. Like some would put runes or flowers or things like that. I use basically more metallic tools instead. I arrange them in a certain pattern, and then I touch each one of them, and at the end I just kind of I gesture as if I'm pulling the energy out of those tools into myself, and then I gather them back up and stand up. And I see I see a few magical auras probably, or actually I don't know if anyone's wearing anything magical, but yeah, I'm kind of detecting
No one's...
Maybe my arcane focus, my staff. But...
Don't think that's technically magical.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys definitely... You did not detect any magic items at all. Perhaps this...
Well, although you probably sense some magic around me, yes. Edwin always casts mage armor once he leaves the house in the morning. So you
There
know
we
it
go.
worked.
Yep,
Yeah,
there
I'm
we
gonna
go.
eye you down, Theodore. Really? I mean, playing piano on your tools? Wow.
It's a gift.
Didn't know it works that way.
I mean, it's always tricky with the artificers who are very much the scientists of this, of D&D to, put those two things together, both magic and science, right? It's often clashes. Yeah.
I mean, I can cast that ritual, same ritual, but I do it kind of differently, I suppose. Well, did it work, little friend?
You'll have to show me sometime. But, the ritual worked, but unfortunately I don't detect anything magical. I thought the dagger at least would be magical, but it's not. So somebody took a great effort to shape it as a dagger.
Well, that's a bummer. Stax, have you gathered anything? So you're poking around in these woods.
Now
that I'm finished with the ritual, can I make a medicine check?
Sure.
As well.
So, kind of following up with Stax, looking around, you come to the same conclusion as Stax. The guy is showing some signs of frostbite, but one assumes he was left out in the cold when this murder happened. So it's not surprising that his body's not reacting terribly well. But he very definitely died from an ice dagger to the chest.
Considering it's a dwarf, somebody had to aim low to stab him in the chest. Well, I guess we don't have many new information from this, apart from that at least the weapon wasn't magical. So, Targus?
I mean, if you all want to accompany me, I appreciate it. But yeah. Are you all sure? Are you all in? I wouldn't want to pressure you to go with me for my little personal quests. But
No, sounded interesting. Definitely.
Oh yeah, thank you. It's appreciative. I'll take all the friends and help I can take.
You escorted us for a long way to get here, and it's the least that we can do.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so let's say you conclude your business in the council hall of Bryn Shander. You gather your snowshoes. You wrap up warmly. There is some shelter provided by the walls in Bryn Shander, but as soon as you get out, the cold really kicks in. You pull up scarves around your face, you put on your thick gloves, you strap on your snowshoes, and you begin the gradual trek across to Targos. And you start the trek. Someone told you that it was approximately a 2-hour trek, and we just lost JD.
He's back.
He's been disconnecting on and off, so he'll be back.
Oh, there we go. Welcome back, JD. Just noticed you lost there. But welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, so you head off once again. So it's normally a 2-hour trek. I'll drag you across to the big map now. Between Bryn Shander and Targos. But with your snowshoes, I mean, the whole point of snowshoes is it gives you a great big wide thing to sit on. And you start traveling across to Targos. It's cold. It's hard moving. But you eventually make it to the town of Targos, unless there's something you'd like to talk about or do along the way.
While we're walking, I'll ask Stax. Miss Stax, you're a huntress? You've hunted game before?
Yes. The tribe I hail from, we are a troop of hunter nomads. It's what we do, how we live.
Interesting. That brings back so many memories. So, what's the favorite game, or what's your favorite mark?
My favorite mark. I do love to hunt bear. Bears are interesting, ferocious, huge, but smart and cunning at the same time.
Indeed, very dangerous. I'm partial to walrus myself. They're magnificent beasts, great tusks.
I have no experience with them. In the tundra, we never really hunted along the coast.
It's very interesting. Of course, there's been some casualties. I know you got walrus, and there's big walrus, very dangerous beasts. I tend to avoid those.
Well, That's always the risk of hunting.
Yes.
Anyone that can hunt can be hunted.
Yes. Be the predator or the prey.
And be both.
Is bear meat or walrus meat edible? I've never had any.
Yes, it's a bit gamey, a bit what's the word? It's kind of hard to cook, but you get a lot of ingredients. I mean, you can use the tusk, you can use the skin and hide, the blubber, the whiskers. It's all useful, you know.
Same with bear, but with bears it's also very dependable on the seasons. If you get one in the spring, they're lean, tough meat. If you get one in fall, just before they go to hibernate, you'll get some juicy, greasy meat from it.
Yes, real fatty bear steaks. Ah, that's the best.
Makes sense. Maybe we'll catch one or the other on our way around 10 towns, and I'll get a taste of it.
You should be careful though, because the beasts will be hungry. Now that there's almost no food, even the beasts are desperately hungry, and they will do desperate things. So might even attack a group of people like us, you know.
That is true.
Well, but a strong man like you could probably defend himself, right?
Of course, yeah. But you know, I mean, if I have to pick between an inn and brawl with the bear, I think I prefer an inn.
Oh yeah, we're on the same page there, honestly. I don't like bears either. Just a quick question to you two. I mean, Stax and Garrosh, you both know the area fairly well, right? Like 10 towns?
I've not been much to the other towns. I've stuck mostly to Grinchenda. I've not been able that long yet.
Then maybe, Garrosh, you can help. So, just hypothetically, if I was searching for some knowledge, a certain book perhaps, where would I go? Is there like a library around, or how does it work? Are there universities?
Well,
Academies?
this whole area doesn't really fare well with learned men. Let me tell you that. It's
Survival of the fittest. There you go.
Yeah, it's more about like rogues, you know, and people at least used to make money here by fishing and by carving these statuettes into these fish bones. So like, there is maybe in Brent Chandler there is something, but personally I haven't checked.
The other place you suspect where they could be is in the two Cares, which is kind of another word for castle. So Caer Connig and Caer Dineval, there might be some books there. But as I said, these two cities over here are very much cut off from the rest of the 10 towns. Because this loch or lake has frozen over, I mean, the goods would usually go from East Haven to the various Cares, but now the lake's just a mess. These two are very much cut off. So you do know, Garrosh, the Caer Dineval and Caer Connig, there might be some books there.
And what about the road? Was there like an avalanche, or where you
It's a very difficult road. So it is possible to get there, but it's just it's like in normal times it's remarkably easy to do it through a lake. So it could be, but it's very treacherous, and basically people don't want to trade with them because they're keeping their goods to themselves, and it's dangerous to get up there. So you suspect they're not happy in those two places. You suspect they feel abandoned by the rest of the 10 towns. But they would have books.
Well, thanks anyway. I think I might have to go there at some point, but yeah. I believe we should be close to Targos, right?
Yes,
Not far anymore.
and you do approach Targos. As I said, it took you about an hour to walk there, given you're stomping around on your snowshoes. The first thing you notice is the lake there, Maro Dualdon. It is almost completely frozen over. I mean, that's this. Oh, I'll just reveal that. So this lake Maro.
Water that is, yeah.
Yeah, this there. I just brought it up so you can see it. Frozen over. You can just see like it's a mess. You see out through the blizzard, you see some vague grey shapes, humanoid shape, just standing out there on the ice. They're not moving very much. You have seen this before, and you're not spooked by it, even though it's inherently spooking seeing these dark figures standing on the ice. And you know that these guys are ice fishers. They've cut a hole through there, and they're trying their best to fish out. I mean, one of the food staples across all of here is something called knucklehead trout. It's very much the stock standard food around here, and usually the fishing boats would be out, but desperate times once again. So knucklehead trout is by far very popular, and this is even what it looks like. So these people are ice fishers, and they're trying to, you presume, pick up knucklehead trout. You don't see any boats out there. There could be boats out there, but it's just the visibility is terrible as the blizzard continues unabated. But eventually you do make your way to Targos over here. And I assume, Garrosh, at this point you've been here before. There are various locations here you could check out. I mean, there's a town hall, which is self-explanatory. There's the Luskin Arms, which is an inn. It's where the town speaker lives as well. There's Three Flags Sailing, which is a tavern. And there's a general store called Triggerlow as well. And you can see from here you can go back to Bryn Shander or to Tourmaline. But as you approach through the gates down here, so as you trudge through the town, snow crunching underneath your feet, you hear the bark of the dog over this incessant whistling of the wind. And a wolf-sized dog that you've seen is obviously a sled dog. It's not a dangerous thing. You've seen these before. Yeah, there's no music at the moment. It's just atmosphere. And a wolf-sized sled dog. It's got a kind of light grey fur, and it runs towards you, and it's dragging a broken leather harness behind it. And it comes up to Stax and kind of jumps up on Stax. Hey, Stax, can you make me a strength check, please? I know this is very much in your wheelhouse.
Definitely. Check or saving throw?
Check. 8. Okay. So these things. Oh, it's got a +1 to its strength. Oh, there we go. So it tries to jump you off and kind of push you to the ground, but maybe it's more of a sidestep than anything. This thing's huge. It's more like the size of a wolf. And it starts whimpering and kind of jumping up and licking your face, and it's going. So it's obviously upset, but licking your face at the same time. What do you do, Stax?
I'll first try to calm it down a little bit. Or do I notice it wants anything from me?
You can make an animal handling check for me if you like. This dog
is obviously distressed. It is very upset about something. I mean, the whimpering gives it away. I mean, these are sturdy dogs. They literally pull people around in the snow. They if it's whimpering, it's not because of the cold, though that would be perfectly understandable. And it kind of grabs you on the end of your robe and starts pulling at you.
I'll follow it and say to it, "Where's your master, boy? Where's your master?"
Okay, and at that, the dog stops whimpering and takes you down the street to... Sorry, I'm just getting my notes organized here. Okay, so he drags you a few blocks down the street, and it leads you to the front door of a fairly modest dwelling. Do the rest of you follow him along?
Yeah.
Yes, but I keep an eye on the surroundings in case it's a trap
Okay. So just make
or
me...
an ambush. Or
Okay, make me a perception check, and I'll let you know if you spot anything. Okay, noted. So the dog continues to drag you, and I said it brings you right outside of the front door of a dwelling. Then the dog barks and scratches at the door, and the door is opens, and you see a human come out. He's looks in his mid-30s, quite a handsome man. He hasn't covered up his face in scarves as you guys do out there. And he opens the door and he races inside. "Hey boy, where you been? Good to see you, boy. Good to see you, boy. Did you bring him back?" And he looks round and sees you guys and says, Oh, you're not him. Oh, this is unfortunate. Come inside anyway, out of the cold. This is no place. Come inside.
Okay.
Go inside.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. And so you go inside, and as I said, it's a fairly modest dwelling. There's simple furniture. There's a kitchen/pantry off to the side. And he welcomes you in. It is at least warmer here. There's a small fire going. One thing you did notice when you were coming here is... sorry, no, that's just what I said before. I thought there was something else, but there's not. You do know this is one of the towns that do the human sacrifices, so there's no unnecessary fires burning. There's nothing like that. But he welcomes into his house. Says, come in, have a seat. My name's Keegan Valerin. Nice to meet you all. What? I mean, I was honestly hoping you're somebody else, but these are trying times for sure. But come inside, have a seat. And he goes to the stove and he hands you out a very warm cup of cider. There is no hot cups of cider available anywhere, but this is at least warms in it. And it heats you up a little bit. So, I haven't seen you around before here. Well, what brings you to Targos?
We heard a rumor of a traveling caravan of one Torga Ice Vein. We were hoping he might have come to Targos, and we also heard a rumor of a band of adventurers looking to trying to find some lycanthrope. At least, but let me stop you. Who were you hoping to find?
I was... And this tears start gently rolling down his cheek, and he goes,
I was hoping you were my husband, Garrett. He's been missing for some time, and I was really hoping that the dog here, Boy, had found him, but he's missing. I don't know what to do. I love him dearly, and he's gone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hope he's still alive. Has he gone missing recently?
Well, I mean, I was born here in the Ten Towns, and Targos is pretty much all I know, but my husband Garrett, he came from a wealthy family in Neverwinter, but he never much cared for the city life, which is how I met him. He worked as a guide, and he loves the outdoors, and he loves to climb mountains, and a few days ago Garrett was hired by some adventurers to lead them up the slopes of Calvin's Cairn. I mean, this is a trick my husband has done many, many times, but his plan was to take the adventurers to Cair Connig, the town at the foot of Calvin's Cairn. They wanted to acquire some climbing gears from the outfitter there, and it was to lead them up the mountain. He took 6 dogs in a sled with him, and Boy here, says, gesturing to the dog, was Garrett's favourite, raised him from a puppy, did. And he would never leave Garrett's side unless there's something that was terribly, terribly wrong.
And that might be the same group that we came here looking for, actually.
I mean, they did leave like 3 days ago, so I was expecting my husband back by now, but he hasn't. I mean, I didn't personally meet the adventurers with Garrett, so I'm not sure how many they are. I know these are difficult times. I know food is scarce. I know the ability to keep oneself warm is scarce. And I'm not sure if you've seen it, but just last night we sacrificed somewhere here to Auril in the hope that their death would perhaps cease this never-ending winter. So I know these are difficult times, but I'm hoping if I could persuade you to look for Garrett and his companions. Man, I don't have much money. I don't. But the proprietor at the Luskin Arms, he's a friend of mine. I could get you some free rooms at the inn. I mean, I'm a scrimshander by trade and can give you some of my artwork, but to be honest, it's no witch math, I confess. So I beg of you, can you look for my husband?
What's the trade again?
Scrimshander. Scrimshander is kind of like
Yeah,
okay.
I've got a scrimshaw dagger, right? Oh,
Yes.
intelligence. Yeah.
And his name is Garrett, like that. Not Garot. That. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
So
I mean, it's for me personally. I'll keep an eye out, and I mean, I gotta discuss this with the others.
Of course.
But,
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to keep an eye out. Well, actually, it literally would hurt to keep an eye out. But yeah, we'll keep an eye out for your husband. And I mean, even free rooms at the inn sound like a luxury at this time. So
yes, keep your. At least you don't need to pay me. It's. I'll keep an eye out as well. My one eye.
Well, as I said, he did go to Cair Connig for some supplies here, and that's a journey in itself. I mean, if you're travelling by foot, that's at least a day's travel. It's a long way. I mean, you could go up through Termalane and cross over that way to Calvin's Cairn. It depends. But I know my husband is... I have a lot of faith in his survival skills, and I honestly think he might still be alive. If anybody could survive when something went wrong. I mean, obviously something has gone wrong. His favourite pup Boy is here. And there's no way Boy would leave his side. And Boy got back and he found you and you found me. So, please help. I mean, time is of the essence as well. I mean, you said you could keep an eye out for him, but while I do have faith in my husband's survival skills, this is the never-ending winter. So I beg you, please help.
What do you guys think? I mean, we should. Let's. Maybe we should. Have you heard? Was it Keegan? Have you heard anything about this caravan? That's. Has there been a caravan arriving here? And this Torga ice vein.
Well, I mean, Torga does come through here. He was here a couple of months ago. I haven't seen him since. I mean, he does travel around. I mean, he could be in Tourmaline, he could be in Lonelywood, could be anywhere. Sure, he's in one of the 10 towns, but he's not in Targos.
Okay. Has there been any murders here in town the last couple of days?
Not in the last couple of days, but there was a murder a couple of months ago.
Okay. Do you remember if the caravan was here at the time?
Let me think about it. See, 2 months ago we had another sacrifice. Yes, it was here actually. I remember. There was old Targos and there was this odd gentleman hanging around. I mean, we all know it's cold, but he wasn't wearing any, appropriate clothing. It was quite odd. He didn't wear a scarf. He didn't wear gloves. And I mean, some people lose their mind here and they don't make the best decision. But this was odd. He seemed to be in his right mind. He just didn't wear a coat even, not gloves, simple shoes. I mean, it was most off-putting.
The sudden sound of metal hitting the floor interrupts your conversation. As you look over, you see that Edwin collapsed and is shaking uncontrollably, apparently having an epileptic shock or something.
Oh, shit. Edwin, hey. What's happening?
I put one of my tools in between his teeth so he doesn't bite his tongue off.
And Keegan rushes over as well and brings some more warm cider. Are you okay? Are you okay, friend?
Takes about a minute until he's back to consciousness. It's like, shit, what's happening? Oh my god. Fuck. How did we get here? What's going on?
You tell us. This didn't happen on our way to Brim Shandar? Has it happened before?
Bollocks, yes, it has. But I suppose that's a topic for another conversation. Just let me get a little bit of fresh air, alright?
Here, have some cider. Don't go out into the cold, friend. Have some warm cider. Says,
He takes a mug of the cider or cup or whatever, and just the other end of the room, I suppose. Sits the other corner.
Yeah.
Self-centered for a few moments.
And Keegan says, "Is your friend all right? Is there something I can do?"
Not sure.
Yeah, we haven't seen this before, as far as I know. I'll just ask him, quietly, if he needs a little magic to top him off, or is he gonna be okay?
I'm fine for you though. Thanks. This is beyond your healing capabilities, I believe.
Okay,
I
then
can
just
fill you in a bit. Just give me some time, all right?
no problem. of course.
So,
I'll go back to the.
so
to the
Keegan,
others.
Keegan says again, and he says, "So Garrett, can you help?" Oh, you wanted to talk amongst yourself. I apologize. And he goes back and just cleans for the sake of cleaning. I mean, you're in his house. It's a modest house. He's going to overheard you unless you make some type of effort to talk about it secretly. It's not that he's being rude. It's just that it's such a small house that a normal conversation voice will carry quite easily.
So Theodore Garrosh stacks with. I want to help, but I mean, I don't want to step on any toes. If you, yeah, what do you guys think?
I'm fine with helping, but I think our first not obligation, but the first thing we were supposed to do is taking us into another direction. So it'll have to wait.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure because we don't even know where the killer is.
Yeah.
Or if he's the killer. And we've got at least a month before he will strike again, as far as the pattern's concerned. We could go to Malane, which is basically on the way to Kelvin's Can, see if Safak is in Malane, and well, if he's not there, we at least checked it. I'm not entirely sure if we've got any leads to have a reason to go elsewhere.
Yeah. And the murder that happened recently was in Bryn Shander.
Yes, the most recent one was in Bryn Shander. That's correct. And then
Yeah.
the one before that was East Haven. So East Haven was a month ago. Targos was 2 months ago.
Okay.
I would try to maybe look around town for some clues, but going to Tourmaline and then towards Kelvin's Care, I think it's as good pick as any other. Obviously, unless we are gonna find the guy hidden here under some keg or something, we'll have to continue elsewhere.
Yeah.
Miss Keegan, this might be a strange request, but any chance we could take your dog with us so he can sniff out your husband once we get close? Maybe it'll be helpful.
I mean, I know I'm wearing a lot of clothes, but it's actually Mr. Keegan. But
Oh, okay, no problem. Because I thought you said it was a he, and then there was
last time you
a
referred to him
husband.
as him.
yeah,
Okay,
I actually changed it in my notes to his husband.
Keegan the male is married to Garrett the male. Just to be absolutely clear.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, they're both males. Sorry, what were you asking?
I'm not sure if you needed the dog here for anything, but if we go search for your husband, would it be possible to take him, the dog with us so he can sniff him out or something?
So Keegan gets down on his knees and beckons the dog over. He says, boy, come here. And she starts scratching behind his ears, and he loves it. Can you help these kind folks find Garrett, please? And somehow the dog understands and starts jumping up and down and scratching at the door. It seems as if the dog is happy to accompany you and wants to get going right away. Just take care of boy. As I said, Garrett raised him from a pup. He is his favourite. And if anybody can help you find Garrett, it is boy. So yes, but that is an excellent idea. Boy will guide you as best he can. I mean, he's got quite the nose on him as well. So if anybody can find Garrett, it's boy. That's an excellent idea. And the dog continued to scratch at the door. Mm-hmm.
At this point, I'll step forwards and put a hand on boy and say, I'll look after him.
And make an animal
what
handling
is-
check, stacks at advantage, though, if you like. Animal handling check at advantage. You have a new BFF, it seems. Yeah, it's taking a real shining to you, Stacks.
Good boy.
And his name is literally Boy. It's not... Yeah, his name is literally Boy.
What? I thought, boy.
Is he a husky or something? Some other breed?
The closest would be Husky. I mean, mechanically, they've got the stats of a wolf, because there's no real sled dogs listed in the monster manual or anything. But Husky would be the closest approximation to a breed in our world. So Husky would be a good way to describe Boy. And at this time, it's about 11 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah.
So we're heading out of the house?
I mean, there's no reason to stay, right?
Well, I wish you luck. I hope you come back with good news.
It might take a while. I mean, don't expect any new. Don't expect news any in the. What's the word?
Immediate
Anytime
future?
soon, but we'll try to find him.
Of course.
We'll give it our best. And thanks for your hospitality and all that.
You're most welcome. And might I just ask, do you plan to go to the care, or I'll bring up the map so you can see, or are you heading via Tourmaline, or which way are you going?
Which way did you say he was going to? Caer Dineval or
Caer
by
Connick.
Coven's Cairn to Caer Dineval?
He went to Caer Connick via Caer
okay.
Dineval, but he got some. He said he was going to get some adventuring cares here at Caer Connick, and then make his way across to Calvin's Cairn. So that's the way he went. But of course, you could go through Tourmaline and cut across that way.
We'll give it a good bit of consideration and then make a qualified decision when we have more information.
Sure. I don't mean to pry. I'm just, concerned for my husband.
Completely understandable. We'll give it our best. You can trust us.
By the way, Mr. Valrin, do you perhaps have some dog feed we can take with us to keep him well fed? We wouldn't want the little boy to starve.
Of course. And she, I'm doing it now. He gathers up some simple dog food rations. It's kind of dried fish. It kind of looks like what they feed him is a knucklehead trout. Everybody's kind of vitamin deficient. I mean, there's not a lot of good carrots or vegetables around. This is very much dried up fish. And she says, this will keep Boy fed for a few days at least. I mean, you might be lucky enough to find some rabbits or something along the way. There is still some wildlife out here despite this bitter cold. But that'll keep him busy.
That's his day-to-day food, I presume.
Yes.
Is there anything like special? His favorite food? Does he only get on his birthday or something?
He really likes chicken, but no one's been able to raise chickens for a long time.
But I might be able to get him some.
Oh, he could. He
We'll
loves
take
chicken.
Good care of him.
Okay, so you be a good boy, and take good care of these people. I mean, you're welcome here to stay as long as you like. There's not enough room for all of you to sleep here or anything, but you're welcome here anytime.
Are Keegan and Garrett humans or
Humans.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll also ask Keegan one more thing. We noticed his sleigh is broken, the one that Boy was dragging. Would you mind if I fix it and take it with us?
Of course, take it with you. Just to be clear, though, it looks like a boy was harnessed to a sled and he broke free of the sled. So he's got his harness
there's no
on.
actual sled. Okay.
No, but like there's leather straps kind of dragging behind them, and I'll just say that Keegan takes them off and he hands them to you, and you're more than welcome to them, but it's not a sled. It's the remnants of a sled. So somehow he managed to break away from the sled. How you did that, boy is not saying.
Okay. I'll keep the part of the harness that's left over and try to
Sure.
make a sleigh if I can manage.
Okay.
Maybe you could
I'll-
go to the... Sorry.
Go ahead.
Maybe you could go to the inn and ask about the adventurers, because they went through here, right? So, since the Keegan didn't meet them, maybe they stayed at the inn and they talked about something with the innkeeper.
Yeah, like we can get a physical description, so if we find any of them, we could identify them.
I definitely wouldn't mind a warm lunch. So, are we off?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'd like to ask one last question to Keegan.
Yes.
So, the way that your husband took, was it through the wilderness, past Bryn Shander? Which one was it?
The way he said he went, I mean, he did go through Bryn Shander, travel along the east way. He probably, I mean, it's tricky. I mean, you can go the way that this mysteriously blue line has appeared on the map. That would be the way to go. But the tricky thing is it's a good 24 hours on foot to get from Bryn Shander to Ciara Dinaval. And the roads to Ciara Dinaval are not the best, even at the best of times. So he might have stopped at East Haven, just to take a break before the heavy trek to Ciara Dinaval. But the thing I know for sure is that he did gear for Ciara Connig. It depends on whether the weather was bad or horrendous. If it's horrendous, he might have stopped at East Haven, or if it was merely horrible, pushed on north to Ciara Dinaval and onto Ciara Connig. Yeah, so maybe East Haven, maybe not, but yes. If you use your known positioning system, I'm sure you can find the way.
We still have to do some investigation in Targos before we go anywhere. So
Yeah. Let's go to the tavern, have a bit of food.
it's
See where we
lunchtime
go
anyway.
next.
Okay,
Early lunch.
so where would you like to go? I'll give you the description again, because Garrosh does know this, having been here before. There's the Luskin Arms, which is definitely the oldest public house in the 10 towns. It was, I mean, of the two bigger towns, Bryn Shander and Targos are the bigger ones. I mean, this has got a population of about 1,000, so it's approaching Bryn Shander in terms of size. The Luskin Arms, rumour has it, it's been here when Bryn Shander was merely a crossroads in the streets. So there's the Luskin Arms. There's also Three Flags Sailing, which is another tavern of note. And there's Triglio, which is a general store. And of course the town hall. So the choice is yours.
Did you say Luskin Arms, Garrosh? Because I passed through Luskin and they had like really good meat. So if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, let's go there.
That sounds good.
Do they accept dogs?
Oh, you're about to find out. Dogs would be fine. Sled dogs tend to be more well behaved. Like I say, so you go through the crunchy streets, your snowshoes still on. I mean, they're helpful in the snow, but incredibly helpful elsewhere. and you head over to the Luskin Arms. Now, the Luskin Arms, see, it's a very old, almost the styling of the place itself is a lot older than the rest of it. And as you look inside, you see much of the decor is old, sort of an older style as well, like in terms of the tables and stuff. It's a very, very old inn. It's got very sturdy walls, because nobody survives long here without sturdy walls, strong enough to even the stronger blizzards that came through here. The floorboards are a bit rotten, and they creak under your feet, and you can just feel the draft coming up. I mean, it's a slightly raised pub, slightly raised inn, but you can feel the cold air just whistling up through the floorboards. You look around. This is very different to the inn you were in Bryn Shander. You can see rats scurrying around. There's not many patrons here at the moment at this hour. And yeah, rats all over the place. There's a human behind the bar. There's one other guy here in the Luskin Arms, and he's passed out drunk. You suspect he was here the night before. There's an upstairs area where you assume there's some place to stay. But judging by the decor of the Luskin Arms and the rotten floorboards and the rats, you could get a decent night's sleep. Garrosh, on your travels, you've had to sleep in barns in other cities. So this is not nearly as good as Bryn Shander, but it's definitely better than some of the other places you've done. And you see a boarding man sitting behind the bar. He's taken one of the bar stools and taken to sitting behind it. He's got a grey short hair at the back beneath his bald spot. He's quite tubby. The best word to describe him is grey. Everything about him just reeks of meh. And he's kind of sitting down there just staring at a glass. He's got a rag in his hand, and you suspect he was going to clean the glass in the great traditions of barkeeps around the world of clean glasses with dirty rags. But he seems to have forgot that he was doing it. He's just kind of staring into space. And so the drunk, the seemingly depressed barkeep, both human. That's what you see.
Well, not quite what I expected, but it'll do. Sir, barkeep.
Yeah.
Do you hail from Luskin, by any chance?
No.
That sucks. Do you still have any good meat?
Meat? Let me think. We've got ale. We used to have some mead, but that went. We have a stew. It's kind of going cold though, but we have that. No real meat, sorry. And as he's talking, he kind of loses.
Sounds fine.
Ale? Sure. And
Just
he
5 ale for us, please.
and he sighs, and he gets up, almost like food.
Bedouin.
Sure. And he slinks. He's moving very slowly, and he fills up. You get you 5 glasses of ale, and brings over. Who wanted the food? Sorry.
Edwin, that cold stew that he was offering, you can make it warm, right?
I certainly can, although, yeah.
So that's not a problem. If
Not a
anybody
whisper to
wants
you,
a warm
Fyodor.
meal.
I honestly am not sure. Do not trust this place. There's rats all around.
Fresh food.
So the barkeep comes over, and he says, "Here's your ales. Who wants some stew?"
I'll have some stew.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind some.
Okay. All right. So everybody who wants stew, he comes back and serves up the stew. And everybody who has stew, can you make me a nature check, please?
Oh man, no con save.
Oh boy.
Oh, right. Still rolling with his con. Excellent.
Come on, Theodore. Yeah, this looks great, Stax. This is good. I think that's your second natural one of the first session, so the tone has been
Session
set.
0 was good as well.
There we go. Greg, you know what's in this stew, right? Why don't you tell Theodore what's in this stew?
What do I tell Theodore?
Yeah, I mean, someone guessed at what's in this stew, so I think you know what's in the stew, Greg.
Rats.
Rats. It is rat stew.
I will try it regardless.
Okay.
And I'll ask Edwin to warm it up first, of course.
I shall warm it up with a flick of my wrist and a slight blue glow in my eye. You see the soup almost getting to a boil.
Great
I shall
magics.
repeat it for all the stews, which is 3, I presume.
And I'm going to ask, what spell is it you cast?
Prestidigitation.
Oh, well done. Well done. I always struggle on that word myself, so yes. So the stews are warmed up. The depressed barkeep goes back and sits on his stool. Gives the glass a token thing, but then is lost in thoughts again and just starts staring off into the middle distance.
So
Can
I
I
presume
go?
Boy is with us as well?
Yeah, boys with you. He came in. The barkeep paid him no mind. But he paid you guys little mind.
You guys, who got the food for the dog?
Stacks, I think.
Back?
Yeah, I've got that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hand me one? One snack?
Sure. You got some.
I shall reply with a kind thank you in the elven tongue. And then cast prestidigitation on that little snack as well and make it taste like chicken.
Ooh, interesting.
Which
That
is
is-
also prestidigitation. And I shall use it to get
Okay. Boy
with this dog.
greedily.
Because Edward likes dogs.
And he gobbles up the piece of fish / chicken greedily, and he goes, "Roo, roo, roo."
Good boy. Good boy.
Edwin, what did you make that taste like?
Chicken, obviously. It's his favorite food.
And I just start pointing at my plate. Do it again.
I mean, sure, I can make it taste like chicken, but it does not actually make it chicken, you know?
No worries. Just make it taste like chicken.
That doesn't make the rats more healthy, you know? With all the disease and illness, but
But it'll
Alrighty.
go down.
and with a flick of my wrist, I shall make it taste like chicken.
And I just gobble it down.
You guys want some other taste as well?
Oh yeah, maybe deer.
Oh my, I don't quite remember how deer tastes, honestly.
I
But
could
I'm
go
gonna
with
try
chicken.
my best. I shall try to make it taste like deer. Edward never ate deer, so it tastes like something else.
I'll consume it with glee.
As you are eating your stews respectively, Edwin kind of let's go aside. I feel like I owe you an apology. This never really happened with that intensity, honestly. I'm not sure if you noticed earlier when we were at the town hall. I kind of blacked out for a few minutes there. I was fucking nowhere. I can't remember a thing. The same thing happened in the house of this, what was his name? Call him Mr. Valrin. Tegan.
Keegan?
Yes. I blacked out as well, then I just apparently fell to the ground. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I mean, I noticed you blacking out at the town hall, but you didn't drop to the floor. It was much
Yes,
scarier at Keegan's.
I am concerned myself, but don't you worry about me. I just wanted to apologize for the inconveniences. Of course, I hope you accept my apology.
No need to apologize for things that are not under your control. I mean,
apart from that, since I blacked out, I have no clue what's going on, and maybe you can just fill me in real quick, because there are a lot of people, a lot of groups, and I'm slightly confused. And that is in and out of character. I missed quite a bit of dialogue.
You literally did black out.
Yes. So is it the same group that we're looking for? Is I think I overheard that the guy, so that the guys who hired the husband Garrett to get them to Calvin's cairn
That's
was
correct.
not wearing any clothes. So it's the same group we're looking for.
No,
It's probably,
no.
it's
There's
not?
two groups. There's the Targos traveling merchants, which is where the guy who doesn't wear
Contra? Yeah.
Yep, who's a guy who doesn't wear much clothes, seemingly unaffected by the cold. So that's kind of one group of people you're looking for. You're also looking for the people that Garrett took. He took them to one of the Cair Connig, I think it was, to get adventuring gear, like climbing type gear, and then head to the cairn to do it. So there's kind of two distinct groups.
This party is looking for the werebear, the lycanthrope.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Well, that was the
Gotcha.
rumor anyway that you heard back in Bryn Shander.
All right, that's what I got. Do we have any intel on Targas caravan since we left Bryn Shander?
It was
Just
not
that-
in Targos, I think.
2 months ago, it was in Targos.
So the best option at this point is East Haven, Goodmead, or Dogan's Hall, because if it had moved through Targos, or if it had gone to Bremen or Tamerlan, it would have probably moved through Targos.
Okay, gotcha.
Looking
Yeah,
at
but
them.
we still have like no idea where they are. They probably didn't go west. Well,
That's correct.
So, okay, then I've got all information I need. Thank you. For
Okay.
catching up.
Okay.
In that case, let's go back into character. All right. That makes sense. So, what's our plan? Shall we look after Garrett?
I think
we
that's the best option.
We could, if Targos's caravan went eastwards to East Haven, and also the Keegan's husband went east to East Haven and then further north to Cair Dineval and Connig before heading towards Calvin's cairn. We could perhaps see if the caravan's gone to East Haven first, perhaps, or
I think that's the best option. Also, we would not be able to reach Cair Dineval before sundown, or at least before nightfall, or whatever it's called here.
yeah, it's not a good idea to be out in the dark. If we are forced to, I could keep us warm with some bonfires. I got some fire magic able to keep us warm, or you guys warm.
With all the freezing going on, I'm not sure if that's enough magic, but thank you for the offer.
Yeah, that might be true.
Two things to note, by the way. It is perpetually twilight here. The sun, you don't see it, so it's either dark or very dark. So there's never much light around. This is another thing.
It's
I mean,
amazing playing a human in those circumstances.
yeah,
Just rocks.
this is very much a seasonal order defect or something. When you get depressed in the winter, this is like that, but on steroids. The other thing to note, as you're talking, somebody comes down from upstairs. He's a well-dressed gentleman, like he's still got the winter clothes on, but it's lined in furs and thick leather gloves and a nice kind of well-made armor. You can see underneath his heavy cloak. And he looks very slick. He's got a goatee, slicked back hair, and Garrosh. You recognize him. And I'll have you say that Garrosh says, "Oh, that's the speaker of the town. That's Nareth." I'll put it in. This is the leader of the town. His name is Speaker Nareth Maxildanar. And you say, and Gary says, I don't hear good things about this person. Don't trust him. Don't trust him. But the speaker does come up and says, "Welcome to Targos. What can I help you with, my friends?" And we will pick up on that conversation next week, because I got to pick up some kids from school in a little bit. So
Some
we'll pick it up
kids or your kids?
Oh, just random kids. just some random kids. Okay, and just out of character, once again, what do you guys intend to do? If we could just do that, just to give me a little bit more preparation, hence next week. You plan to go to East Haven and then head north?
I suppose so. I think
Basically,
I mean, yeah, unless there's any objections.
If we had a little bit more time, Edwin would have voiced his interest in going to the chaos as well, before he is looking for information there.
Okay, so it seems as if...
My vote is to that direction as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
East Haven first stop, and if there's no sign of the caravan or the adventurers, we're going probably to head further north to Dunval and Connick to look
Okay.
for them there.
Got it. So we'll play that out next week, but I hope you gentlemen had a good time. No combat yet, but it will happen.
Which means we're still alive.
You're still alive. I mean,
Edwin is still alive.
yeah. I mean, first level, you guys are all made of paper, right? It's just whether it's cardboard or tissue paper at this point. But you survived the first session, and that was good. I enjoyed playing with you guys. I always enjoy it when people do a bit of role playing on top of it. Most people say they like a bit of role playing and a bit of combat as well, but sometimes they don't
Yeah, I
really
would
mean it.
definitely give that as feedback. Like, I pretty much want to have a fight per session, if it works out somehow, even if it's just some bandits in the street.
Yeah, combat is coming, but just the way things played out this week, I don't know which way you're going to go, but it will happen. Okay, but take care, everybody, and we'll see you same time next week.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
Okay, take care. Take care. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for DMing.